This is not going to be a show for the faint of heart. We're not having these bullshit conversations any longer. We are going to have a come to Jesus conversation. This is not going to be about victory laps. This is going to be about what happened. And this started in March of last year. This is not going to be any of that. Victory laps, your football team sitting next to the Jets. You played one more week than the Jets. Okay? With expectations of getting to Super Bowl 60. I see people in here doing, you were right, Sills. We were right in 22. We were right in 23. We were wrong massively in 24. We've been dead right the entire year. The only shitty prediction I had was that the Commanders would win the East. I thought they would. Because I never thought you were going to be a good football team. By the way, Big Z, you got to love this. I liked and I wrote a comment about Milton Williams. Go look on my X account. I said, you think the Eagles miss somebody like that guy too? He liked it. Milton was a beast last night. I went back and forth with him on our DMs, and I congratulated him on a great season and going into the divisional round with the Patriots. Over there, Hurts and Sirianni era get in both and get a new quarterback and coach when the contracts allow. We're going to get to all this. Massive failure at every level. Every level for the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles. Massive failure. And you lose to the second worst team in the NFC playoffs. The second worst team in the San Francisco 49ers. But what you saw there, man, was spectacular coaching versus mediocre offensive coaching. It was mediocre at best. At best. The coach and AJ, no disrespect to Jeff Kerr, but somebody on the sidelines got to be the adult. If I've got a problem and I got a conscious issue with a guy, I'm going to take him in my office or in the locker room at halftime and say, I need better effort out of you. You connect with players when you're one-on-one. Not for 30 million people to see that bullshit. Someone's got to be the adult. But then again, Sirianni being the adult, that's why you got a bouncer on the sidelines in Big Dom to control his ass. He's infantile in many ways, Nick Sirianni. The quarterback. I'm sorry, guys. The quarterback, keep coming, you're almost there, is limited. So what do? You put a limited coordinator near him. How does that make sense? So if Jalen didn't play asshole football, we would be prepping for the rapid dog Ben Johnson. Too bad Jalen decided to be selfish. Big Sills, as far as I see, the Eagles have two options. Laurie and Howie take the offense out of the hands of Sirianni and get rid of Hurts. That's the options. Limited. We are not going to listen to this bullshit any longer. A.J. Brown had 4 drops. I saw Brock Purdy throw into garbage cans. Garbage cans. and you're relying on your stars to bail you out, Brock Purdy was relying on garbage cans to win a football game. If your quarterback can't use Jahan Dotson, if one guy's not working, then you don't have a quarterback. AJ had 4 drops. Well, get someone else involved. Wait, he can't. The Niners had nobody. By the way, did he not give max effort on that play? You damn right he didn't. Looked like a business decision to me. That guy checked out 3 months ago. And by the way, when I told you this shit was going to continue, there it was in the NFC wildcard game. Most important part of your season. AJ and Nick and all the bullshit with your stupid offense rearing its head. Cost you in the biggest moments. Your unprofessionalism all over between the coach, the player, the inexperienced play caller. Hey, guys, guess what? I told you you weren't a good team. You don't want to believe me. You were not a good team. You were a decent team. You thought you were this football team that resembled last year. You were not. You were never anywhere near the 22 or last year's team. I tried telling you. I took so much shit from people this year. You have no idea. You paid $200 million for a pile of shit. Our so-called leaders. On offense, where were they? Xander, I just missed 2 supers. Apologize to you guys. And I appreciate you being here today. And I know some of you, this is a hard conversation. Seals, is it a great decision to throw a ball to a 5'9" Jahan Dotson guarded by a 6-foot corner? Of course not. Let me apologize. Last night was a fucking mess. I think there you go, Xander. Thank you, brother. I super chatted after the Giants loss that we're going to be one and done in the playoffs with knee pad Nick's offense. You think I like telling you guys in the offseason you were one and done? Do you really think that makes me feel great? You're wrong. I told you you were one and done. I thought you might get to the divisional round. I didn't think you were going anywhere. How did you? Based on what? Oh, and by the way, that postseason legacy stuff was bullshit. It never was a factor. Your experience was non-factor. What happened? Colossal disaster. How in the world are you outgained by them garbage pails? How are you outgained? I'm going to tell you what you need to do, and get this. What probably they're going to do. Oh, can we do this? Today is going to be the beginning of a media execution of A.J. Brown and Kevin Patullo. For some reason, you're going to feel like you're going to be better without either guy. When the main culprits are Nick and Jalen. Here comes the hard conversation. Okay? Here comes the hard conversation. You want to change your offense? You got to change the quarterback. You know how we know that? Nick Saban did it. Nick Saban knew it. You want to change the offense? You don't change the coordinator. You change the quarterback. No matter who you put in that seat. Same shit, different day. Same shit, different day. You know what's become even more apparent? Nick Sirianni is not a problem-solving head coach. You know why? If he doesn't have the right coordinator, he's a failure. What does that tell you? The coach can't fix problems. I saw Kyle Shanahan win a football game with Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. And not one star on that offense could start in your huddle except two players, McCaffrey and the quarterback. That's it. Brock Purdy's more talented than Jalen Hurts in the pocket. He could do more with less. Your guy can't. Oh, and you got a heck of a play caller. Two things you don't have in Philly: a good quarterback in the pocket and a great play caller. Change what? How many coordinators are you going to go through before it ends up being you? It's like getting a divorce 18 times. I got to think it's the guy or the chick. How many times are you going to get divorced? This is like a divorce. It's embarrassing. So let's start, first and foremost, with Kevin Patullo. I don't blame a guy who's never been a head coach, a coordinator, do you remember me going over his resumes? Do you remember me talking about Kevin Patullo's resume? Kevin Patullo's resume is littered with buddy jobs. Assistant to the receiver coach, assistant to the coordinator, assistant to the quarterback coach. These weren't legitimate jobs. And you gave that guy the keys to the offense of the defending Super Bowl champion? There's only one other way to read that. You know what it is? Well, we're not really going to change it. Barkley said it in the postgame. You know what he said? We ran the same script of a year ago. That's why you hired a guy who's not qualified to be the coordinator, because all he did was he pulled out Kellen Moore's playbook of a year ago and went down the same line of 2024. The only problem was you were a lesser team. You used the same playbook you did a year ago, basically. Why not? What would the guy know about in-game play calling? I questioned that the first freaking day when he was named. I asked all of you. I love it, too, when I turn on the radio. All these narratives that I had in the offseason are magically all of a sudden, these guys are trying to change history. Like all of a sudden they now know, ooh, Hurts has got limitations. Ooh, the coach is not that hot. Ooh, the coordinator's not that good. You know what, man? I can't tell you. I had a guy on my X account tell me, hey, Sills, I'm going to come up with solutions here. You don't know the shit I've taken from everybody. Being too hard on the team. Saying things that, Sills, it doesn't really look. Well, when you got into a football game that mattered, you got beat by a shit can team. I took shit from all of you. Everyone. Every single person. Hey, but by the way, it's not victory lap shit. I wanted them to do well. Bro, Q handled Jalen Hurts 2 short field goals and got Diddy squat. The Niners had dudes named Wallow and Siegel. Last Siegel I saw was Steven Seagal. What the F? I got you, bro. Z, I missed the super. Guys, I appreciate these supers. It's going to get a little ugly here today. Because we going to call everybody out. I can't wait to see Angelo has to say. That's at 3:30. Make sure he got everybody here. Replace Sirianni, the offensive play caller, head coach, or have the same issues. That's right. Simple as that. I doubt it's fire Sirianni, so Kingsbury, Dable, or McDaniels. Bro, You're going to have this revolving door every year in Philadelphia. Every year in Philly, you're going to have this. So let's start first with Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo is a pawn. Fire him for what? He's not competent? Okay, we knew that. He's not a good play caller? Does it matter? Does it matter if he's a good play caller? This is Nick. The only way you're going to... Nick doesn't respect Hurts as a skill. Or you would never name somebody. Get this. How do you hire a guy like Vic Fangio on defense and then turn around and hire Kevin Patullo on offense? Based on what? Nick's recommendation? Since when is Nick a good coordinator? Since when? Based on what? Based on what? He was 2-4. When Brian Johnson and he took over, he was 13-11, and then this year you're 11-7 again. You're 24-18 with him at the head of the snake. You're 24-18. That's good. Based on what? Your head coach is a doorman. He has no answers for anything that goes wrong with that team. He had no answers for AJ this year. How do you think he handled AJ Brown all year? You think he actually told AJ Brown to sit the F down and be quiet? No way. That guy, I mean, dude, Nick Sirianni wasn't wrong to ask the guy for more effort in the game. It was his timing, which has been always awful. You should confront your player in the locker room. Bro, I need better effort out of you than that bullshit. I don't have a problem saying that either. Hey, we need better effort. Running down the sidelines like a scalded child is not a way to look as a head coach. What do you think this is? High school? That's Harry high school bullshit. These are professional men. Conduct yourself like one. Unbecoming of a head coach. He's not wrong in theory. His bullshit antics on the sideline. I've never seen a bulldog bodyguard on a sideline to control a coach in my entire time playing or covering a team. And by the way, I'm going to say this. 49ers look like they wanted it more than you. The 49ers look like they were playing with their hair on fire, diving for footballs. Brady was throwing some hospital balls out there. No way, man. They slayed the beast with nobodies. It was like David and Goliath watching it. I'm watching nobody, guys. Oh, and I mean, I brought this up on the postgame show. Did you not know that kid Jennings was a higher-rated recruit coming out of high school than Joe Burrow at quarterback? Look it up. He had a higher quarterback rating coming out of high school. Did you not know that? That he's capable of throwing the football down the field? Did you scheme for that? Sure didn't look it. Sills, now we know why 2023 happened. 2 collapses in 2 years. Somebody's got to go. What other coach acts like Nick? The D3 chalk sniffer. Hurts ain't no triple threat. Chili's triple dipper is more of a threat. That's funny. Hit the like button. Thank you for your supers. Kevin Patullo being fired. Who cares? Kevin Patullo is a sacrificial lamb. And because Philadelphia, let me tell you a little bit about you. You got to tar and feather somebody. because it can't be your beloved Hurts, or it can't be your beloved head coach. Some of you act like these guys are married to you. I thought you were loyal to the team. Why would you be loyal to players? The organization isn't. Players checked out like 23. This is Nick's issue. Clearly. Why are you not loyal to the team? Why are you so loyal to players? The organization's not. They fire guys all the time, move on from guys. How do you stop the revolving door if they don't fire Silianni? They have to shop a head coach OC that does both. Brady, Clint Kubiak, etc. What do you think? I do think that's where you go. Vic probably loses years of his life listening to Nick and Petulo. We're now 0-2 ever since Nick was acting like an ass in the tunnels. How about this? I think Kyle Shanahan's 3-1 against you guys now. I think he's 3-1. 2021, 17-11. Eagles win in 22, 31-7, NFC title game. 42-19 in 23, Niners. And 26, 23-19. Shanahan's got the resume on the Eagles, seems. He's 3-1. He's 3-1 versus that. You know why? Great coaching. Great coaching beats incompetent coaching. One thing I'm sure, and I hope you've learned from the wild card spectacular weekend, coaching in the NFL matters. Coaching in the NFL matters. Seals, every jersey I own has my name on it, except two, which is Barkley and Dawkins. I don't give a crap about players. I love that. Okay? Look at this. Get this. Awful takes all show long. Because this guy's a suck ass. He's an excuse machine. This was a fucking failure on every level. And you got suck asses like that sit there and make excuses. And you know what they are? They're brokenhearted when their takes are shit all year long. Bro, you were wrong all year long on everything. Okay? Everything you were wrong. Now let's get to the most important thing in the building. The quarterback. The quarterback is limited. Keep coming. Keep coming. Come on. Come on. Come on. You're almost there. Come on. You're almost there. Come on. This was never going to be a long-term experiment. Sills, what are the chances Nick pushes back on Petulo firing in the same way Doug? Zero. He's a knee dragger. Every press conference, he's kissing Howie's ass. That guy ain't doing that. He's a politician, as John McMullen says. He knows how to play the politics. Let's go to your quarterback. He's limited. And you put a limited coordinator around him. Nick Sirianni's limited. I mean, who in their right mind? Don't you agree? If you don't know something, if I don't know something, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hire somebody that does. I'm not going to hire somebody who's less qualified than me on a topic. Why would I do that? Make sense of that. Make sense of that. And for the organization to okay that. Arrogance also is what cost the Eagles this year. Their arrogance. How many times have I said that you've left at least 2 Super Bowls on the table? Here's number 3. With that group of teams that are going to the divisional round, What a crime you're not in it. Super Bowl number 3, you've left on the table now. Super Bowl number 3. I mean, you've got 2 Super Bowls in 8 years. You should have at least 3 more. Get in your own way. The only way you are going to change your offensive approach, it's not by a coordinator. The only way you're going to change your approach in offense is changing the quarterback. Roll 2, I'm assuming tied. The right, Jalen Hurts, elite. That's what we saw. An underachieving year with your elite quarterback. Seals, can Howie as the GM take the offense away from Nick and hire? He does. And hire an OC that will dictate to Jalen what the offense does versus Jalen telling the coach what he does. What he's doing, that's saying you're taking the offense out of Nick's. Hey, Riot, it's not about taking the offense out of Jalen's hands. It's about taking the offense out of Nick's hands. Nick Sirianni doesn't want the offense out of his hands. That's why you don't hire people like Vic Fangio on offense. Why don't you go out and make an offer to Kevin Stefanski? I know he's probably going to get a head job. Why don't you go hire a great-looking coordinator? Get Brian Callahan. He's a hell of a coordinator. Bring him in. No way. No way. That means the offense is out of Nick's hands. Your quarterback was never here for a long time. He ain't that guy. He's just not. Won an MVP. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's the Jim Plunkett of the Eagles. I don't see skill. In a game that you needed a guy to be exceptional in, he was common. That was a common performance. They needed more. He couldn't give it. Versus a team that had linebackers I'd never heard of. I mean, I saw Josh Allen carry a football team across the finish line against a very talented Jaguars team. He had nobody on that team but Cook and him. Cook and him. And he goes down into Jacksonville, puts up 300 yards of total offense, and carries his team across the finish line. That's carrying your fucking football team. Jalen couldn't carry his team. You guys are blaming AJ for the game? What did Purdy have to play with? This guy loses Kittle in the ball game. He's got one dude in the game. You have all those talented players, and you couldn't do squat with them. Quarterback's limited. Play caller's limited. Head coach is limited. Howie Roseman, I told you this. That team wins because of Howie Roseman, not because of your shitty coaches on offense. The only coach that's worth a shit is Stoutland. The rest of them are pedestrian. What I'm saying is we've heard all year Hurts doesn't want to do this and can't. And OC telling Jalen, you will run the offense. I'm with you. I don't know either, Riot. Hurts, RPO one read quarterback. Told you that in 22. Doesn't want to run the ball anymore. Then he's limited. Not a great talent. Coaches that can't make a system to Hurts' strength. Last year, lightning in a bottle. Wasted roster this year. Oh, yeah. This is a wasted opportunity. Lost. One of your Super Bowl window years. Wasted. Out. Coaching. Execution. Personnel. All of it. And you gave them the benefit. Well, here, that benefit's gone now. You have no fucking benefit. There is no benefit. Okay? There is no benefit. You know, benefit? You want to change the offense? Fire the quarterback. Wait, you can't. So, quarterback stays. It's like an anchor around your neck. Same shit, same bat channel. See you next year. Nothing changes. You think that guy's going to all of a sudden evolve into some passing guy? You're out of your tree. That guy's never that guy. Never will be that guy. I told you this in 22. That's the best hurt you'll ever see. And it's been played out that way. Can Frank help out? Or is that chapter closed? They're going to do everything to help Nick. You keep missing it, guys. By the way, Freddie, I appreciate the super. Thank you, guys. Listen, you keep missing it here. You keep missing it. Help what? Help Nick, you mean, not Jalen. They're destroying. Jalen Hurts is one thing he does well. You know what they're destroying now? His winning. Now they're destroying his winning. Shitty coaching. Do you believe if the players at their meeting say that they want Nick gone, would Jeffrey and Howie get rid of him? I would think the players are beginning to turn on him. No way. Players in an NFL locker room? When you're in a comfort zone, can I tell you the most important thing that Jimmy Johnson used to give his guys? Nobody's job was safe. No matter who you were. If you weren't Aikman, Emmett, or Michael, nobody's job was safe. And Jimmy made you know that. Nobody's job was safe. It's not a sense of urgency in there. Why? Because Howie's the most valuable person in the organization, and Howie has the most autonomy, and Howie is with more power in Nick's locker room than the head coach. This is kind of a Jerry Jones situation in a way. Sills, I just want to give you a shout out. Thanks for covering this team. You're honest and fair. Though you do make me mad at times, I do appreciate you. A lot of love to you too, Leon. Bro, when I do my style of radio and I do my style of broadcasting, believe me, I know. I make every single person around me cringe. Everybody. From my bosses down to you. I know that. It's called fucking conviction. In our locker room, the O suck. What does Nick even do? Funny. Now it's an echo chamber. Thank you for the super. Says, what changes do you think need to happen on the O-line, if any? I promise you, it's not just going to be a bitching match here. We're going to go into what has to happen. Now, let me get to AJ. I'm going to write 3 names down. How many people think you're going to be better next year? Without Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert on offense and another coordinator. You think you're going to be better next year? No Lane, no A.J., and no Goddard. Based on what? You lost the benefit of the doubt. Based on what? Based on what? Do you think they're going to have an epiphany? And the football team offensively is going to morph into some sort of what? What do you believe the offense is going to be next year? A running attack? passing attack. Hoss, as long as Jalen Hurts is your quarterback, be prepared for the same. What's Jalen say? Main thing's the main thing. You're running it back with lesser talent or inexperienced talent. A.J. Brown not being on this team doesn't make you better. Let me say something to you here. Michael Irvin and Jimmy Johnson. Michael Irvin is a handful. But he made it work. Andy Reid and T.O., they couldn't make that work. This just lasted longer with more results with AJ than with Owens. And Owens was more public. AJ has held his tongue. Owens couldn't. There's no difference. You get rid of A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown hasn't lost a step. The offense has. So let me get this right. Barkley's lost a step. A.J.'s lost a step. Devontae Smith has lost a step. And none of these guys are 30. Okay. Gee, really? Every one of these guys have lost a step. Maybe it's the offense. Maybe it's the approach. Maybe it's the quarterback. You guys are now blaming one guy. So Philly. It's his fault. No, it's not. It's collective fault. Then you say fire the quarterback, it'll be a different offense. But when Tanner was in there, you said it was the same offense. Still looked bad. How is it a quarterback thing? Hey, my friend, who said Tanner McKee's the fucking guy? Who said Tanner's the guy? I missed 2 blue ones, Z. 2 blue super chats. If we can get those here, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. We'll get those up if we can. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Guys, you want to change the offense? Change the quarterback. Hiring a new OC is going to result in what? Like what? It's the quarterback. You don't want to have these tough convos. You think getting rid of A.J. Brown's going to make Jalen Hurts better? Brown will be good with a coach he respects like Vrabel. Yeah. Yeah. And a quarterback he respects. A.J. Brown doesn't not like Jalen Hurts. He hates his skill set. What did you think you were going to do this year, really? Super Bowl? Parade floats? I feel bad for some of you. You really vested a lot this year. You said before the game, Tanner fits better. He does. He fits Nick better because Nick's only dealt with drop-back quarterbacks. If you're talking about skill set, and by the way, Tanner McKee was throwing to guys that Brock Purdy was throwing to. Think about that. So when you guys take a shit on Brock Purdy was throwing almost to the same type of guys that Tanner McKee was throwing to when he started that game against the Commanders. And Brock Purdy beat you with him. Brock Purdy beat you with people I've never heard of. There. Like, who are these guys? Demarcus Robinson, I had to look him up. Jennings is a decent player. Look at these guys. Jake Tongues? Malik Turner? Who the fuck are these guys? And they beat you with them. Wow. Embarrassing. If we don't change the quarterback, then we need to change the coach. Correct. And OC for Jalen. Right. Okay. One or the other. Hire John Harbaugh and bring in Todd Monken. Perfect. Never happened. You're not wrong, Mikey. That's exactly right. Okay? Can't move off of Hurts. You're stuck with this guy. He's an anchor around your organization. So, help make him better instead of Nick better. It's Nick or him. But it'll be neither. It'll be AJ and KP. The two wrong guys. I'm not saying Kevin Patullo shouldn't be demoted or fired. He should have never been in the place in the beginning. He was not qualified. How many times did I tell you that he was not qualified to be the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles? How many times did I say that to you? You guys didn't want to hear that shit, man. Kevin Patullo. Guys, get this. After Xander told me the guy was in the league 13 years as a pro, quality control coach, assistant and quality control coach in Kansas City, quality control coach in Buffalo, quality control coach and the assistant to the assistant wide receiver in Buffalo, the assistant wide receiver coach. That's not a gig. Quarterback coach at A&M. That's not pros. Wide receiver coach in Indianapolis. That's a job. Okay? Pass game specialist. That's not a job. It's not a position coach. Pass game coordinator. That's not a position coach. Pass game coordinator and assistant to the head coach. Those aren't fucking jobs. Those are like ass-kissing jobs. Seals, the biggest issue is that you trust this organization to develop a quarterback. They messed up Wentz, and now they're doing the same thing to Jalen Hurts. Kyle, I agree. Not coaching him. Will we hire competent offensive coaches? As long as Nick's there? No. No. Did you read that resume I read you? Where in your right mind did you think that guy was qualified? Because he was sitting getting Krellers and coffee and parking Nick's car and Howie's car? That he was the OC of that team? Based on what? Right. GQ. Intern jobs. That's what they were. Somehow that guy went from an intern being the OC to Jalen Hurts. No wonder when Jalen's walking over the sidelines going, what are you talking about? That we're going to throw that play on fourth down? I'd rather have had Jalen Hurts. By the way, why don't you go for the first down? Get it closer so you can use his wheels. Seals, what do you think about going and getting Eric Bieniemy? Eric Bieniemy is not what that team needs. They need someone like Ben Johnson. Look at what Ben Johnson's doing with Caleb Williams. That guy has changed that guy's life. But that means Nick then is irrelevant. Do you understand? If you hire a high-profile coordinator, it means Nick's irrelevant. What's his gig? Remember what I told you with Cliff Kingsbury? And that whole fiasco was going on. And he took the Washington job. He took the Washington job because he wasn't going to be given autonomy of the offense. Kellen Moore was given autonomy because Nick was coming off at 23. He said, we got to run the ball. Hurts, can you imagine having private meetings behind Jalen Hurts' back as a staff going, we can't throw the ball. We got to run it. That's what they did in 24. Wow. Let me ask you this. Do you really believe that Nick Sirianni trusts Jalen Hurts to win games from the pocket. No way. Yeah, but Caleb can actually throw the ball, unlike Noodle Arm. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. So the Eagles will be better without AJ? I'd rather fire Nick than get rid of AJ. AJ Brown is still a stud player. AJ Brown knows Nick's not a good coach. No one wants to say it. By the way, I have not heard anybody defend Nick's actions on the sidelines when it comes to the players. That AJ needs to act like I've not heard any of that. Have you? Maybe I missed it. Did any teammate call AJ out for his not talking to the media after or on the sidelines? Has any teammate said anything? Did anybody? Did anybody not? Did anybody go after AJ? Fire Nick and hire a play calling head coach. Can you imagine Kevin Stefanski with that talent? Not having to work with the bullshit he had to work with Jimmy Haslam in Cleveland? Guarantee you he'd get the best out of Hurts. Nick Sirianni, man, is George Seifert. And you don't want to believe it. He's a non-problem solver. But you don't want to hear it still. Don't worry, it's coming. His ending is coming. Why did everyone have an intern besides Bobo? I don't know. I find this conversation unbecoming because, look, I'm talking about non-qualified guys when I talk about Kevin Patullo. He was never qualified. John McMullen went to the Hilton, still does for that guy. I mean, for what? But then again, to John's point, he's irrelevant. This is a bigger issue. This is the quarterback. If the quarterback and head coach can't agree, one of them has to go. It ain't the quarterback. Nick Sirianni is getting in the way of success that could be greater success into a dynasty. You know who your dynasty killer is? It's Nick Sirianni. You have a chance for a dynasty. Nick Sirianni's a dynasty killer. You should at least be in the NFC Championship game. With the people that are in the NFC, how is San Francisco there in the divisional round? Nick Sirianni is a dynasty killer. 1 year fired, next year Super Bowl. 1 year fired, next year Super Bowl. Tell me I'm wrong. Have you ever seen two coordinators fired in 3 years with a team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years out of the 3? Have you ever seen that before? I've never seen that before. Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts, too, and his journey as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. What year was he drafted? 20? Who was his coordinator? Press Taylor? Press Taylor. That was what, 2020? Right? 21. Nick first. And then, right, it became Shane. Shane was in 22. Then 23, you had Brian Johnson. 24, you had Kellen. 25, you had KP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shit, the guy's only been in the league 6 years. He's had 6 coordinators. You tell me how that's developing him. 6 different views of how to push the offense. What's been the one common denominator in the building besides the 2020 year? Nick is the one common denominator. Sills, is it possible Hurts could help facilitate a trade to a new team for them for the betterment of both parties? Love the show, I believe. Big fan of the honesty. Thank you very much, Dual Threat Gamble. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to leave Howie Roseman. Why? Howie Roseman's going to put talent around Jalen. I wouldn't leave that. For who? The Browns? Why would I want to go anywhere if I'm Jalen? You know, when Jalen left Alabama, where'd he go? He went to Lincoln Riley and OU. You think that guy was going to go to where? Oklahoma State? You guys not transferring to shitty places like that. He's going where high-quality places are. Steelers? Steelers make a trade for him? The Eagles aren't. Dude, stop with the trade. No trade clause in contract. Jalen's nowhere near that where he wants out. Why would he? I wouldn't. Hey, you want to stick with Howie as much as you can. Nick's the problem. Always has been. I kept you asking the questions all the time. What's his gig? What's his job? He shows you he doesn't have a job. Every down year. Hey, by the way, next year, without AJ, without Lane, and without Goddard, and an older Barkley, and an older Landon, and an older Cam, he got a lot of work to do. Sacrificial lambs right now in Philly. KP, AJ Brown. That's why you lost. You're fucking high. You really think that's why you lost? This was a deep-seated issue that's gone on all year, and it really was even last year. And AJ bit his tongue because the Lombardi trophy was hoisted. If you had lost, it would have facilitated the same way, but it didn't. It's scapegoat time. Thank you, Michael. It's scapegoat time. Who can we pin this on the donkey? Oh, low-hanging fruit. KP. Hanging it on a guy who's not qualified, that's not solving your problem. That's not solving your problem. The quarterback and the head coach are not on the same page. Look at how they call the games. Look who they hire. Guys, it's not an opinion. Look at their actions. Take a look at their actions. Seals, I need your Ackerman. The last play of the game, they took time out. Salah was in quarters coverage. Should they have thrown to the flat? I would have thrown, I would have thrown for the first down. You still had some seconds left on the clock and you had a timeout left. Then you could have given the option of run or thrown it into the end zone. I wanted them to get closer, get the first down. You had 8 or 9 seconds. At least get this. Put Salah on his back where the quarterback could have. I thought, you know what I really did think? I thought Hurts was going to run that fucker in to win the game. But he was too far out. I thought he was going to run that ball in. I said they were driving down there. They were getting there. I thought they were going to get close enough, and that was going to give them the option. But no way. They didn't get close enough. That was the key. Don't let them inside the red zone to give Jalen that option to get it in there. I didn't think Jalen was throwing for the touchdown to win the game. I thought he was going to run it in to win the game, like he did against Buffalo. I thought he was, nope, no way. They panicked on that play. Guy's walking over to the sideline. Okay? Walked over to the sideline. He looked at the guys and go, "That's the play you're calling?" Okay? Listen. I thought about that last night, Michael. It's funny. You know what? So I heard Angelo Gargano on. It's like almost like this guy's been watching my show the last couple days. All of a sudden now, my takes are his takes. My takes are the WIP takes. Funny. It's kind of funny to watch. And then you know what they'll do? I thought about it all the time. I knew this guy sucked. I knew this was going to happen. And you're like, did you really? That's not what I heard for 6 months. That's not what I heard. Those aren't the emails that Xander was getting every day. That's not what was going on. Not true. This guy's past his time. He can't see the game. Sileo doesn't know what he's watching. His takes suck. All but one were true. Sills, that's too much thinking for Hurts and him. I don't want Jalen Hurts thinking. He's an RPO guy. Big salami stick sells. I'm not a happy camper after the loss, but well, what are you going to do? Great question. What do you do? Let's get to that. Pitching? I told you so? That's boring, dude. What do you do next? Now, do you guys want to think like the Eagles? Or do you want to think common sense-wise? There's two ways of looking at this. How do you think the Eagles are going to act, and how should they act? Oh, I can't wait for Jalen Hurts Appreciation Day. Are we doing that again? Oh, I can't wait to get Angelo on at 3:30. My God, please. Thank you, God. There's still people like that. Thank God. And not glazed donuts. Thank God. Ass kissing radio. Tell you what, we get to those days, you got it. I'm out. You want to sit around glazed donut people? I'm out. Not me. No way. Truth, justice, baby. In Big Sil's way. If it ain't that way, I don't want to do it. I thought on a platform I could talk like that, but you know what? Even some of you guys get fucking bent out of shape. Doesn't matter where I talk. Pathetic. Pathetic. You're supposed to love your team. The players, stop acting like they're your wives or your husbands or something. Fuck the players. It's about your team being better. This is the pros. How in the world do you get so tied up with these players when the organizations don't get tied up with these players? They'll cut a guy in 10 seconds. They let Milton walk out the building and didn't give a shit about it. Didn't think twice about it. Why should you care? I thought it was about Eagle Green. The civic pride of your team and your colors. That's why college football has a lot of love to it. Because you know why? Players come and go. Graduation classes every 4 years. There's a remedy to that. You love Bama. You love Miami. You're loyal to it. Not loyal to a dude. What to do? Here. Well, here's the common thing to do. If you're Jeffrey Lurie and you're Howie Roseman, you're having private meetings. Do we want to go forward with the way we're doing business? Number one question. And the answer is going to be yes. How do we pivot? What do we have to do to make it better? What's the number one thing we have to do? Well, we have to address the coach and the quarterback. Because you know why? Howie's not going to address the roster. He built it. Howie doesn't think there's anything wrong except for the aging fact of the O-line. You know what he's going to say? Style of play. Age that O-line like dogs. The first thing he's going to address is O-line. He's going to address it in the draft, and then you have to address free agency with money. And the guys you have on your team now. It's going to be a very expensive offseason for the Eagles. High-quality picks and money on defense. You got three dudes you got to decide to do. And if not, are you going to go after Max Crosby? How do you get yourself better? Vic Fangio is the star of the whole entire organization. So, Sills, the whole month of September was an outlier starting 4-0. You were spot on this year. Vindicated from eating shit last year. How you doing? 7-7 since September. And that's not a drink. Liars Month. You bought it again. You bought Liars Month. I kept pointing out who you beating. Who are you beating? You're not beating anybody. Then he came out of the Raider games and the Giant games. And you thought you had momentum. I'm like, the second half of the Buffalo game showed me you're still the team. And that's the team that played 4 quarters of football on Sunday. The second half of Buffalo was the entire game against San Francisco. Okay? Who said Vic had a good night? He was completely outcoached. Kyle Shanahan destroyed him with 4 explosion plays with trash cans. Hey, and don't ever tell me ever again that Saquon Barkley's in the conversation with Christian McCaffrey. I try having that conversation with you, and you don't want to hear that either. That dude is a special player. The things he can do in the pass game, in the run game, those tough yards in up the middle, tell you what, that guy was hitting the hole harder than Barkley was. Barkley was okay, but you needed more than okay. You weren't that good. This game was on the players. Patullo attacked the middle of the field. Play calling was terrible, but playing was good regardless. Fire KP, address the line. Okay? Nothing wrong there. Kevin Patullo's going to take it. I'll be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him on, though, and they demoted him. And they brought someone else in. Because that's his boy. Depending on how angry the owner is. They may just demote him. I don't know how they're going to handle that. Because then that makes it 2 years out of 3 that that coordinators that were picked were wrong. 2 years out of 3, you picked the wrong guy. And you even picked the wrong coordinator in 23 defensively. The talent on that football team is not being coached appropriately. Oh, and by the way, here's something else you got to address in the offseason. If you think Clint Hurt, Bobby King, Christian Parker are going to be on your coaching staff in 26, I got news for you. You got a lot of guys that are going to get head coaching opportunities, and they're going to go right to the tree. And you know who the tree is? Vic Fangio. If I can't hire Vic, I'm going to hire one of his boys. Barkley Bigsby running good, and we stopped in the second half. It makes make it make sense. I'll listen. Play calling. Conservative. Panicking. 49ers, Robert Saleh had a great night. He had a great night versus Nick and KP. Robert Saleh's a good coach. I don't know about head coach, but he's a good coach, man. That was well done. Was this season worse than 23's collapse? I don't know, man. You know what? I had that debate in the postgame show, and to me, I think the expectations were loftier now. I do. I think the expectations were loftier. The Super Bowl is the saving grace for Nick. If you could fire John Harbaugh and Doug Peterson, you could fire that guy too. If Tony Dungy can be fired, or if Bill Belichick can be fired, who the fuck is Nick? If Andy Reid can be fired, who the fuck is Nick? I mean, well, hang on. So it's coaching. I'll ask again, Gary. If you have the reigning Super Bowl MVP, you hire a guy that can't help him win a Super Bowl? And you're just assuming because he got Krellers, he's going to help Hurts? Make that make sense. As brilliant as the hire was on defense, why can't you have that same brilliance on that other side? It's the freaking head coach. The head coach doesn't want superstar talent because he thinks he's superstar talent. Do you get it? He's your Kyle Shanahan. That's how that Eagle coach sees himself. You're the ones that keep propping him up with the win percentage. You're the ones that are like Reuben Franks getting a bust ready for the Hall of Fame. You're the ones. He ain't that guy. Seals, you know damn well he ain't the Super Bowl MVP. That defense was the end. No, I wouldn't go there. Dude, Jalen Hurts, when given the right people around him, can excel. You got me wrong here. He can excel. You got the wrong people around him. He'll never excel. You don't have a good run game? By the way, shit, DeAndre Swift looks like a better back in Chicago right now than what Barkley does. He does more. He catches the football in the flats, and he runs the football. I don't know. DeAndre Swift looks like a hell of a player right now. And Ben Johnson utilizes his ass. It's all coaching. We ran the Detroit offense. You can't run that Detroit offense with Hurts. He's not Jared Goff. No way we're letting Hurts off the hook. Nobody is. I've never. For what? You think the tush push wear the O-line down? I do. The guy that cried the loudest had his chance and choked. A.J. Brown played a horrible game. He completely checked out. Yes. If A.J. makes 2 of the 3 catches, it's a different game. Listen to what you're saying. It's a different game against the worst defense in the playoffs. I think that 49er defense was worse than Carolina's offense. Shit, they hung tight with the Rams, Carolina. I mean, Carolina hung with the Rams. Stafford had to play out of his ass in the fourth quarter to beat them. Dude, the worst defense in the league beat you. in the playoffs. The worst defense. You couldn't come up with plays to beat them. 4 explosion plays defensively, too. Hey, by the way, your defensive ends were on milk cartons. Zach Bond was annihilated by Kyle Shanahan. And nobody's. He was a non-factor. Vic Fangio got his shorts pulled down last night. He got his shorts pulled down. Kyle Shanahan owned his ass last night. And Purdy delivered the goods. Get this. Purdy had 2 picks in the game. Kyle went like this. Fuck that. If we're going to win, it's on his ass. And they did. You keep saying the worst. We run the same plays. I never said you were a good offensive play calling team. You're missing the point. I never said your coaches are good offensively, except for Stoutland. Rest of them, you might listen. You may have the best defensive coaching staff in pro football. You might have the worst offensive coaching staff in football. And Jalen Hurts and the talent on the offense, they win in spite of them. Let's also talk about Elliott. Dude, the extra point missed. Clearly. You're down there in the red zone, kick the field goal, take him into overtime. Who knows? Remember I told you in the pregame? Watch special teams. Could play a factor in the game. And it did. Keep an eye on Elliott. Remember? Probably people forgot that, though. And somehow that probably became somebody else's narrative. Kept saying it. Keep an eye on Elliott. Sure enough, it took him out because it was a 4-point game at the end. They had to get to TD. It was so well done by Saleh and Kyle. Okay? It's a good question. Where is that? Dan Sileo, do you think we'll be better next year once our O-line improves and we run it better? Yeah. But you won't have Goddard and AJ. And you're assuming Barkley's going to come back to what level? Guys, Saquon Barkley had a Saquon Barkley year. That year he had last year is an outlier year. It's like Roger Maris hitting 61 home runs. He ain't doing that ever again. He's not a 2,000-yard back. And ask yourself this. You think you're going to be a better team without Lane, Goddard, and AJ? If you do move on from them guys. Based on what? Your drafts? Name me an offensive lineman that you've drafted outside of Cam Jurgens in the last 6 drafts that you're happy with. 5 drafts that you're happy with. Cam Jurgens seemed like he was good for 2 years. He was terrible this year. All week, everyone was talking about who we would rather face in our next matchup. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. What a well-coached team. Yeah, look at what they have. Quarterback who understands the system. A play-calling savant coach. General manager who knows personnel. And an owner who spends the money, the Yorks. If you don't have that foursome, you ain't winning. Take a look around the NFL. There's very few of those teams. The Eagles get in their own way. Nick Sirianni's a dynasty killer. He's a dynasty killer. So look at his win percentage. No, you mean look at the team's win percentage. Look at the players' win percentage. 23 was a disaster, and this was a disaster finish. Here, that's probably how we could categorize it. 23 was a complete meltdown of the last 2 months. This was false hope. Must have been a resume. I guess the resume didn't factor in, did it? When you know you got a fraudulent resume, is when a guy has no answers. Kyle Shanahan had answers. Kittle's out, no problem. Ayuk's out, no problem. Ricky Pearsall's out, no problem. I couldn't even name those tight ends he was throwing to. I had no idea who they were. It was remarkable. It was utterly remarkable watching what that guy was doing play calling. It was insane what he was doing. This is completely insane. Bring back Becton to replace Lane. He's not a tackle. Dude, you need to get a guy in the draft and get a staple out there. You got Jeff Stoutland. I'm good with Stoutland helping get the guy to Dude, one thing is for sure. I'm gonna lean on Jeff Stoutland. On the type of guy they're gonna need in the first. You need an O-lineman in the first round. You need a first-round O-lineman. Out of Becton, man, those days are gone. Okay? I want new blood. I mean, Jesus Christ. I watched tremendous coaching in the playoffs. It was a tremendous weekend. Dave Canales coached his ass off in Carolina. Liam Cohn was coaching his ass off. Ben Johnson was coaching his ass off. I watched Kevin Patullo shitting all over himself and Nick chasing him. It was ridiculous. All that so-called experience meant nothing. Seals, Dallas will win the NFC East, and I'm an Eagle fan. I'll tell you this. I don't know what's to expect coming up because I got to see what they're going to do and what heads get chopped off this week. Oh, know this. Heads are getting chopped off. I would say by the end of the week, A.J. Brown's demanded a trade. I would bet anything. He'll demand a trade. You can't have that public you can't have that out in public like that. Okay? So is there any scenario where AJ returns? Yeah, Nick's not here, but that's not happening. They're going to spite themselves and move off of him. They're going to spite themselves. But here's what's going to happen also. Bob Lang's going to come out, and the smearing campaign on A.J. Brown will commence. It's just a matter of when the owner wants to do it. And when the owner wants to do it, that's when the smear campaign. Look at a smear campaign that's going on with John Harbaugh publicly right now on his exit from the Baltimore Ravens. All of a sudden now, there were other things. John wasn't a good communicator. Since when? He was there 18 years. He won 180 games. He won a Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know. Really? And you're smearing John Harbaugh now. Because remember, the Ravens and the NFL have to justify shit like this because no one understands. Whoever Baltimore hires will be a less coach than what John Harbaugh was. So they're smearing him. That's what the league does. That's what many companies do. Person leaves a company, they'll smear their name. You know why? They got to justify themselves because that's what low character people do. Instead of thanking people on the way out the door, they want flesh. Nobody wants to just say, thanks for the opportunity. I'll see you. Good luck to you. People want flesh and bone, especially in Philly. I mean, A.J. Brown will be a villain by Friday. He's already a villain now. And you guys, for the craziest things, think getting rid of him is going to make you better? Like I said, that sideline fiasco. Nick's not wrong because the effort sucked on the play. I agree. But you sent your player into a tank the rest of the game. He checked out on you. There's a time and place. You get the guy by himself, go, the fuck you doing? You're A.J. Brown. Act like it. You don't alienate him. Then you get in the press conference, go, we're good. Well, it didn't look good. You bitched and screamed at him on the sidelines, and he dropped 4 passes. That's not going to fucking win foot. That's not winning football. That's not winning football. And it looks like panic on the sidelines to the rest of your team. Then you have to have, what, your private bouncer go over and separate you? What is that? Like a bar fight? I thought you had the experience. You sure didn't look it. That was unbecoming of the defending champion. Like I said, Nick's not wrong to blow a gasket. I thought it was shitty effort. But someone's got to be the adult. Someone's got to be the leader. That was a lack of leader on both sides. Well, that's what you got. Player checks out after that. Congratulations. You bitched at him, and you know he's a fragile dude anyway, and he's a diva. Nick Sirianni's running down the fucking sidelines, and he's screaming at AJ, someone's got to be the adult in the room. Dude, I mean, Nick Sirianni, he's the problem. There's 2 things. You're either going to change the quarterback if you don't like the style of play, which you can't because you got to know trade, or you're going to change the coach. So you hire a coordinator who's a buddy. Before I bring Angelo on, I want to read this thing here to show you how I said from the beginning, and Angelo actually called him Bobo. Listen to this. Kevin Patullo, offensive assistant in quality control. You know what that is? That's a gopher job. Buffalo, quality control coach. That's a gopher job. Offensive assistant and assistant wide receiver coach. These are ass kisser jobs. Passing game specialist. What is that? That's an ass kisser job. Pass game coordinator in Philly. That's an ass kisser job. Where's his position coaching jobs? This guy's had 1 in 13 years. And you gave the job to Jalen Hurts and said, go out there and throw in triple coverage at the end of the ball game. And you got beat by a trash can team. The 49ers, Brock Purdy's throwing the trash cans. That was the worst defense in the playoffs. You know, I couldn't wait because I've taken so much shit from people this year. And everything we said, almost except that I thought the Commanders would win the East, turned out to be true. And guess what? If you go to AngeloCataldi.com, hey, maybe we ain't a dying breed. Let's bring in our friend here, the legend himself from WIP, Angelo Cataldi.
Visa.
Angelo, I think this little pause here kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Well, I feel like I redeemed myself after predicted 5 wins in a Super Bowl season. People are going, how the hell did that guy last 33 years? Well, this Patullo hire, if you couldn't see that this was going to go crash right into the wall, Dan, then you don't understand. You don't. This applies to everyone, not just football people. Don't hire your buddy because you're not hiring him because he's the best candidate. You're hiring him because he's comfortable to be with. And this Patullo had the best analogy. I have a Rolls Royce. Let me get a student driver to be my chauffeur. That's what you're talking about. But to anybody that tells you that Patullo didn't destroy this football season doesn't understand the game at all. Because even an idiot like me could see it. Even a moron who predicted 5 wins in a season where they won the Super Bowl could see that hiring another one of Sirianni's Bobos was not going to bring you success. Well, guess what? You saw it now, jackass. What are you going to do about it? I mean, my goodness. How did they give the power to Sirianni to do this when they didn't give it to Doug Peterson? Can you explain that to me?
No.
What kind of ass kissing did Sirianni do that they went, you know what? He got Brian Johnson wrong a couple of years ago and he made him the offensive coordinator, but he'll get this one right. Well, I'm with you. To me, Sirianni is the real problem here. Sirianni's record is bogus. Totally freaking bogus. If you lose a game yesterday to a team that has lost most of their talent, they're all on the sideline. They even lost George. What's his name? They lost Kittle with 40 minutes left in the game. I mean, you can't win that game. And Dan, the whole season, the culmination of a season of utter frustration simply came down to a meeting before fourth down, right near the sideline. You got Patullo, you got Sirianni, you got Hurts. And I'm watching this like a hawk because you are seeing exactly what is going on internally. And the one guy talking is Patullo. You got a head coach who's won a Super Bowl, and he's letting this horse's ass, who hasn't got a play call right all year, make the call on the final play. I swear to God, Dan, that second I yelled out, "We're cooked, we're screwed." Patullo's called to play, and even Hurts was like, "Yeah, all right, we'll do this. It's not gonna work. We'll do it. Send 4 guys out. Don't even cross patterns. Do nothing to deceive anyone, and throw it into triple coverage. That might work. That's a good plan." It's just the talent on this Eagles team is better than any talent on any team left in the playoffs. They're better. They have more depth. They have great skill level players. And the one guy who could stop all that was Kevin Patullo. Thank you, Kevin. Now get the hell out of Philadelphia.
Let me ask you, Angelo. Do you believe I'm calling Nick Sirianni a dynasty killer? I think he's getting in the way of what could be. I mean, Super Bowl windows, as you know, are not open for a long period of time.
Yep.
And with the NFC brackets the way they are, you look up and you go, wait a minute, you're telling me they don't belong in the 4 teams that are going to be in the Final Four in the NFC? This is a missed opportunity. Yes. How do you think the owner and the GM are going to absorb this?
That's the question. If I'm Howie Roseman and I put that team together and I saw what they did to that offense, first of all, I wouldn't have sat there all year without ordering something to change. They tried that 2 years ago. It didn't work. But I would have gone, clearly this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Clearly. We got to do something here. We can't just throw away a season with all this talent. How much money they're playing?
$200 million on offense.
Yes. And we took it all away with just by putting somebody in there who doesn't know how to do their job. So I would say that Howie Roseman resents what happened deeply. And I think you will see this by them once again. They're not going to fire Sirianni, although that'd be fine with me. But you're going to find once again the Eagles go to a veteran, experienced offensive coordinator with a track record of success. They're going to go. And when you see that happen, you'll realize that once again, Sirianni does not have the power, that he's lost the power again, which is the only thing that will work anyway, because the minute you give him any power, he blows it.
But Angelo, hasn't the last 3 years exposed him in a way? 23, no problem solving. Last year, they got an experienced guy. This year, they didn't have an experienced guy. Doesn't that expose the record that
yes.
he He's at the behest of what the coordinators that's brought in. He's not making decisions that's going to make the team and the offense better. You
You're
see
right.
that now, right?
Yes. 100%, to the extent that on the final play of the season with everything on the line, Sirianni didn't call the play, Petullo did. You saw it. It was right there in front
I
of you.
saw it. I couldn't
You
believe it.
saw it. There's no misinterpretation. Petullo told him what to run. There's a slight nod by Sirianni, and then Hurts goes, "Oh, here we go. I know where this is going." And they did it. And it was like, well, yeah, Hurts is not blameless. Don't get me wrong. Hurts needed to control his own fate more than he did. But he got sick of it because he realized this guy had no idea what he was doing. They didn't scheme anything all year, Dan. They got no one open all year. A.J. Brown can't get open anymore. You never schemed to get him open. You don't know. The guy running your offense has no idea how to run an offense. You can't see that. You needed 17 games, and then you needed another one, 18. You needed the playoff game against the team missing most of their best players, and now you go, well, maybe he isn't the answer. It took long enough. It's laughable what happened here. Laughable.
Laughable and sad in a way here. Let me ask you this here. Okay, let me go here with AJ. Angelo, you've been in Philadelphia way too long to not know that you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to have sacrificial media lambs that are going to be put out there for people to flog, and those are going to be A.J. Brown. And I'm not saying Kevin Petullo, because at the end of the day, the guy was not qualified to be the guy to take that job, but he's going to be easy to put up there on the firing squad here. So in your opinion, A.J. Brown, how does that make them better, getting rid of A.J. Brown? And just because those two guys can't get along, would you make it that whole scene with him running down there, getting in his face? And then what do you make of the fact that they're probably going to be a public like outlash against these two people?
Petullo's gone. Brown's gone. They're both gone. All right. What happened with Sirianni and Brown? Look, Brown's a pain in the ass. I'm not here to tell you it would not be torture to have to deal with that egomaniac every day. But if you're a coach whose one main attribute is creating a culture of happy players working together, and you initiate a dispute with your star receiver because he claims you want to get him off the field. Who the hell knows? He never tells you the truth anyway. I mean, what does that say about your managing of the personalities that you had to have a public situation develop during the most important game of the season? So there is no box that Sirianni checks for me, Dan. You understand? Yeah. I don't think he's a good X's and O's coach. I don't think he's any good in the locker room. And he's the worst I've ever seen at news conferences. Oh, my God. Oh, it starts with me. Every time they lose a game, we're going to have to study every aspect of it, and it starts with me. Well, how many times did you do that and have no answers? How many times did you tell us, we know there's something wrong with the offense, but we're going to fix it, and then couldn't do it? Couldn't do it 3 years ago. Couldn't do it this year. Did do it in the middle because you had Kellen Moore, a guy who knew what he was doing. The fact is, you're right. Petullo's gone. Brown's gone. They'll bring in some other talented receiver, but he won't be as good as Brown.
Lane will be gone too.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Change happens after you lose. But the problem is, this team right now that just finished the season, that's a Super Bowl winning team again. Talent-wise, that can win another Super Bowl. And you'll not see that because of the coaching. Period. Anybody tells you anything else, they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
You know what, Angelo, what you just said's fact? I just saw a guy like Kyle Shanahan with trash cans. And Robert Saleh. You don't have Nick Bosa. You don't have Fred Warner. You don't have Ufanga back there playing in the secondary. You have none of those guys. And you beat that team and you hold them to 19 points in your own barn.
It's unbelievable.
Coaching.
And you said it. That defense, even when healthy, is not good. It's not a good defense. Salah did a tremendous job with what he had to work with. You should have put up 30 no matter who they had in the lineup. And you couldn't do that in your home park. You couldn't do it at the Link. It's just, Dan, this is the hire of Petullo, in my experience, 40 years at Philly. That's the worst individual hire any team ever made, because they put in his hands the talent of a champion and he destroyed it. That's the worst hire I've ever seen. And the loss yesterday, top 10 in the last 40 years, because it should not happen. It should not have happened.
Wow.
There was no reason for that to happen. And I'll tell you something else, Dan. It was stupid the week before to rest those players, because you could have played the Packers. Well, you might have blown that one too. Who knows? But, anything's after what I saw yesterday. I'm not sure who the hell they beat. Maybe the Jets. I beat somebody.
Well, they're home with the Jets now, so I mean, they get to watch.
But no, it's just the whole thing was just a boondoggle. It exposed Sirianni for the ineptitude that he has brought to that position for 5 years, and has somehow wriggled off the hook a couple of times and gotten to the Super Bowl. But a better coach would have won more than one of these for sure.
How about this? How much damage has the organization by allowing him to bring in incompetent OCs? How much damage has he done to the development of Jalen Hurts to where you see him right now as a player?
That's the biggest story of all, because that's the guy, that's your quarterback. That's the guy you've invested the most money in. And what I saw a lot of this season, and even yesterday, was a guy whose spirit was depleted, whose confidence was shot, who had no answers. When he would release the ball quickly, there was no scheme, so the guys were covered. So he's throwing into coverage. When he's running outside the pocket, looking for a place to run, most of the time he's having to just throw it out of bounds. He's so much of a better player than what we saw this year. So much of a better player. But so is A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's a much better player. Most of the line underperformed this year, what they are capable of doing, right? A lot of that was also coaching. I'm telling you, Fred Johnson yesterday, who had played pretty well replacing Lane Johnson, yesterday, he was a human turnstile. He could block no one. The wind did more blocking than he did yesterday. All right. That's how terrible Fred Johnson was yesterday. No, there's going to be changes in the wind, but the fact of the matter is, Dan, this is a Super Bowl they just flushed. They should have won it.
When I go back and I zero in on one thing here, Angelo, do you go into the 2026 season? Do you go in thinking that Nick Sirianni, in any way whatsoever, do you think that you go in there looking like this? Is he a product of the environment that we created, or is this guy a caboose?
He's a caboose,
right?
And what I'd love to say to you, and I think it may be true, I hope it's true, is that he's coaching for his job again next year, the way he was last year. But again, if they bring in a really good coordinator, the way they did with Kellen Moore, and you got Fangio, and you got the new coordinator, you could possibly Nick-proof the team. They Nick-proofed the team in 2024. That's how they won. Nick had no say on either side of the ball, and they were good. Once you give Nick any power, you lose your ability to win, because he doesn't know anything. He is absolutely the biggest fraud this city has ever had as a coach. He can't do the job, and he's won a Super Bowl and has a brilliant record. Watch the games. You'll see what I see.
I see it too, and I agree with you 100%. By the way, do you think the OC job is a good job?
Yes. Oh, God, yes. I mean, well, I don't know if they're going to have Brown, so that's going to be a problem. I'm going to assume.
Yeah, but if Nick is in the way, Angelo.
Nick is
If
in the
Nick
way, but
gets
Nick,
in the way,
hold on. But Nick was not Nick. If maybe Nick needed a little wake-up call, maybe Nick started to think he was smart, right? Because Nick now has to know that not only did he have no answers to fix that offense the same way he didn't 2 years ago, but also he's got to understand that he works most effectively when there are other people running the units. And he's got to see that by now. So I'm going to think he'll get the hell out of the way he did last year. He got out of the way, and they won a Super Bowl. All he has to do to keep his job is get the hell out of the way and let Howie Roseman's roster win for him. That's all he's got to do. That roster is the best one in the NFL.
You know, Angelo, here I want to lay out to you, and you tell me if you see it the same way or maybe differently on that exchange on the sidelines. I'm not saying that A.J. Brown didn't make a call in that and not stretch out and maybe give you a little more effort. I'm okay with that, and I'm all right with that premise. But do you think that's the place on the sidelines for you to run down there in front of 30 million people, get in that guy's face down there on the sideline, and then look what you did to the player, the rest? By the way, we know he's a diva. We know these guys are that guy. Then he turns around and has 4 drops. I'm not letting him off the hook in any way whatsoever because he played poorly. But someone's got to be the adult. I've never seen a head coach, Angelo, that has a bouncer on the sidelines in Big Dom that has to keep the guy controlled because of his energy.
Yeah, he absolutely needs it. He has this story. And again,
he's got a personal bouncer on the sidelines.
I hate to keep going back to the original premise that if you have a terrible offensive coordinator, it ripples. So let's look at A.J. Brown's performance yesterday. They threw him 3 balls in the first quarter, and he caught him. He had 25 yards. They were going to him. They threw 2 deep balls to him, back to back, that were not successful. I don't blame him for either one. They were tough plays, especially to win. And then second quarter, third quarter, into the fourth quarter, they don't go near him. They don't throw him a ball. He's not involved. Suddenly, we're in trouble. Now we're going to dial him back up again. I mean, if you got a guy who's already got an attitude problem and you're freezing him out for more than half the game with the game on the line and a close playoff game, yeah, that's going to kick his attitude in a little more. And if he drops the ball, I think he'll go, good. You got what you wanted. Thank you. No, they didn't use A.J. Brown right at any point the whole season. They either threw to him on every down or they forgot about him for half the game. You saw it. There was no consistency in the way they plays for A.J. Brown. And the way I see it is eventually he started to build up a resentment in the way it was being coached. It started to affect his performance. It was clearly affecting Jalen Hurts' performance. You saw what happened because they didn't know how to coach the offense. That's what ultimately, all this other stuff that rippled because of that basic problem. You had an offensive coordinator who did not know how to do his job, had no clue how to do it, and was kept in power for 18 games.
Do you think their Super Bowl window's closed?
No, I don't, because Barkley, since he got to Philadelphia, got healthy. He's been healthy. Barkley's still a great runner. Get him better blocking. Barkley will still break off a lot of big runs. Barkley, he did early in the game. Barkley is fine. Devontae Smith, pound for pound, phenomenal.
Love him.
I don't know why they wanted to get rid of Goddard, and then suddenly he was their go-to guy in desperation. I would not get rid of Goddard either. I know he's contracted. So, yeah, good. Try to find somebody to replace him. Calcaterra? Good luck with that. All right? So if they maintain what they have, I'm going to assume that the middle of the line, the Dickinson and Cam Jurgens, all those guys, they're going to have better years. They got banged up bad this year. They were probably partying a little too much after they won it last year. Their commitment will return. Mailata's fine. Lane Johnson, maybe one more year. He's always hurt now. but
Now,
he's
wait,
still
Angelo,
great.
are you thinking like you, or are you thinking like Lori that they're doing this? Oh, it was injuries. This is why the issue.
No.
Okay.
No, that this was the one positive of all this is it was so obvious, so blatantly
It was.
obvious
It
to
was.
everyone
It was.
that no one, if you're going to argue that it was the players, not the coach, go in the corner, put on a dunce hat. You're a moron. All right. The fact is, it was the coach, and everybody could see it. And what I would imagine will happen is they will strip any of the additional power Sirianni got by winning that Super Bowl. He's going to lose that. They're going to bring their own coordinator back in like they did with Moore. And you're going to find out that they're a much better team than what you saw this year. They're back in the playoffs, and they're a contender for at least another year or two.
How about Vic? I mean, were you disappointed? Vic got beat by 4 explosion plays in the game. Were you a little shocked? Or was that collateral damage from the offense?
Part of it was collateral damage. You got to understand, too, that Vic's defense gave them 2 turnovers. They had great field position.
3 points off those 2 turnovers.
There was a shank punt that gave the Eagles a ball at midfield. And those 3 possessions, the Eagles got 3 points out of. All right. So, see, if the defense has provided you the opportunity to score points and you're squandering that, you are impeding that defense in a whole different way. The biggest problem by far is the offense. I don't think the defense is a big problem. Well, Vic Fangio had an amazing year. He lost half his starters. And they still performed better statistically than they did when they won the Super Bowl a year ago. No, none of this is on Vic. In fact, I was even thinking to myself, maybe Vic should be the head coach. I know one thing. He's smarter than the guy who is.
Well, how about this? Who do you think the players have more respect for in that building, Nick or Vic?
Look, if you're a player and you saw Michael Strahan, of all people, came out, went public and went, what Sirianni did with Brown on the sideline was ridiculous. It was stupid. It was counterproductive to the success of your team. All right? So if you're another member of the team seeing him do that, is that going to make you respect Nick Sirianni? No.
It's not the moment.
No, I think Nick is by nature a first-class ass kisser. He kisses even after the game, after this altercation, after they had blown the game. Oh, AJ and I have a special relationship. I love him and he loves me. Yeah, I have a weird way of showing it, right? And I'm going, I'm going to tell you what, you'll see how close that relationship when they send AJ packing, like within the next couple of months.
I want to go back to the Ottsman, and I want to ask you now. I mean, are we going to go on a cruise? Are we going to go buy another yacht? And are we going to contemplate in what he's going to do? Would he make any drastic changes at all? Like anything? Look, to me, Angelo, getting rid of Patullo, that's low-hanging fruit. Moving AJ, that's a scapegoat stuff. What's going to change? Nick, if you're going to change the offense, don't you think the coach has to go?
Nah, they won't do that because they didn't have to do it when they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
So they're status quo then, right?
No, but let me the Yachtsman. Here's the thing with Jeff Lurie, right? Jeff Lurie at this point is in his 70s now, right? He doesn't have. I'm in my 70s. You can hear the clock ticking when you're in your 70s, all right? And he's probably going, I'd like to get one more of these at least. I'm gonna change stuff up some. You're gonna see some. The one guy who's safe is Roseman, because the Roseman is doing his job really well. All right, not as well last year because he was worried about sentiment. I wonder how he feels about not keeping the best players from the year before now. Probably not the same.
Look at Milton Williams, what he did last night.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole bunch of them out. Josh Sweat had a really good year too.
He did.
bottom line is
Kenny Gainwell had a great year in Pittsburgh.
yes, he did. He really did. And I'd say this again, DeAndre Swift, I love him. I just think he's a hell of a player. A lot of good players. These are all guys.
He had a great year in Chicago, and they're in the divisional round.
Well, you can't keep them all in the free agent world. But Howie knows a player now when he sees one. Howie has a great judge of talent. Howie's going to be fine. I just hope we've reached the point where Howie, who's the smartest guy in the organization, has the ear of Lurie now to say to him, all right, we have a coaching problem, but we could probably work around that by putting in coordinators who have all the power.
But that's what they're doing now, Angelo.
I know it. And to me, they're not going to they can't get rid of Sirianni. Did you hear the testimonials Tom Brady was doing yesterday about Sirianni? I thought Vince Lombardi had been
I thought I was listening to Reuben Franks talking to me about getting a new bus, or whoever wants to get a bus for Sirianni out there. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I drop it from a 12-story building and see it smash onto the ground today. You want to give him a bus today, all right? Bottom line is Sirianni's staying, but he may be coaching for his job. Petulo, there's an outside chance Petulo stays in the organization because at the current time, Dan, he is really unemployable. Even a really strong high school team would not want to put him in charge of anything. All right. The one thing he's even got this look on his face like, you go, this guy is not at the head of any class.
No.
This guy looks kind of punch drunk, kind of loopy.
Wait a minute, Angelo. Something in your blog. Rich Kotite, Nick Sirianni. Do you see anything different in these two guys?
Here's what I said.
No way.
We have always, Dan, for over.
Oh, I know. Hey, Rich Kotite is like
35 years. He's the benchmark. Yes. Both here and in New York. The dumbest guy who ever coached the team. That honor has now been handed to Kevin Petulo. In the future, it's like we use a reference point for quarterbacks. So whenever we want to talk about a quarterback who got hyped and gave us nothing, we reference Bobby Hoying. All right? Yeah. Well, Kevin Petulo now is the punchline for all jokes about stupid Philadelphia coaches or managers. Well, yeah, but he's not Kevin Petulo. We're at that point in Philadelphia.
Oh, my God.
He is. Rich Kotite, wherever he is, can rest easy now because the new poster board for stupidity in the coaching ranks is Kevin Petulo.
Last one here for you, Angelo. Do you believe that they'll be back in contention this coming year, or do you think they're going to go through a little bumps and bruises?
No, because the minute they put a guy who's competent in charge of that offense, you're going to go, holy Christ, how bad was Petulo? Look at this. Saquon just ripped off another 180 yards in this game. Where the hell was this last year? The question everybody will ask next year is, where was this last season? Where was it? And it was in the brain of Petulo. He did what no defensive coordinator has been able to do since Hurts got here. He found a way to shut that offense down cold. That's how bad he is. Man. Oh, what a Bobo. Bobo Petulo.
Angelo, I reached for a glass of Brioche last night when I was watching that thing. I was like, hey, tell me the truth. As soon as the clock ticked, or no, that the fourth down, you went like this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tell me you didn't go unbelievable.
I wasn't. It's funny. Normally I get like ticked off. All I could do is chuckle because I went back to the meeting and I went, these three football people got together and went, you know what? It's our last play. Let's let Petulo call it again. That'll work. It hasn't worked all year. That'll work. So I had to laugh and I had to go, what a shock. It didn't work. Throwing into triple coverage was not a successful way to end the season. Who knew?
Angelo, make sure you guys go to angelocataldi.com. By the way, Rhea Hughes, She watches the program, man. Thank you very much for connecting me with her because she's been taking I think she's been taking a little bit of your and dropping it on the air there at IP because those dorks, I'm hearing that they're going to have Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo Appreciation Day this coming up week here.
They should. But let me just say, whatever Aria's saying, I stole it from her. She didn't steal it from me.
Angelo, thank you, my friend.
See you, Danny.
You got it. That is Angelo Cataldi. My hand's hot. Man. He's the new punchline in Philly. He's the Rich Kotite, you can put him the rest now. Hey, at least he's not Kevin Patullo. Oh, man. Good grief. Where are you going? Who are you bringing in? So everyone says players or coaches. What would the 49ers coaches do? I asked this question on the postgame show. You imagine Kyle Shanahan with that team? They'd never lose a game. They'd never lose a game. Hey, Sills, the season's over. Good luck with your content. Keep laughing. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. By the way, my season just began. Are you kidding me? This offseason's going to be even better than the regular season. Because every decision is going to be important on getting you back to where you need to. Are you crazy? This is going to be a slam dunk. The offseason is going to have as much drama. What do you do with AJ? When does Patullo get fired? Is Hurts going to bounce back? Is Sirianni on the hot seat? All of that. Who are you drafting? Are you signing Jalen Phillips? Are you playing the fifth-year option on Carter? Is Davis getting a deal? Are you kidding me? I could do 5 hours of what we're going to talk about. This ain't like the offseason where we're just talking about parade floats, Broad Street, how we getting hit in the head with a bottle. This ain't that. He's back to the drawing board. Pull up them sleeves. Got to go back to work. You know why? You're home with the Jets. You're back with the Jets. You played one more week than the New York Jets did. You're a little better than the Jets. Congratulations. I'll take that back. Okay? You're a little better than the Cowboys. As a matter of fact, think about that. That football team was not coached like it was better than the Cowboys. The Cowboys got better coaching this year. Even with that shitty defensive side of the ball with Matt Eberflus. They did a better coaching job than what the Eagles did this year. And that excludes Vic. What, am I wrong? What'd they win? 8 games? You won 3 more. And we're bounced by the shitty Niners. What do you think Lori told AJ earlier this year? Pipe down. Hey, again, I want to make it clear. I don't think Nick was out of line in wanting the guy to play hard. I don't. But like Michael Strahan and I would say, dude, that's not the place to sit there and shit on a guy in front of 30 million people when I need that guy for 3 more quarters. You want to shit on him? Get him in the halftime. Get him after the game, take a shit on him. And that sucked. Dude, I'm not talking about not reprimanding people. And you need that guy. That's not Jahan Dotson. You fucking need that guy. Hey, Sills, you mean I should change? Look at Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin had Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, 2 nightmares. He got the best out of them. Why? Because he knew they were lunatics. That's the Sills we know. Back on the Cowboys. What are you talking about? Don't pretend like you're good. You're average. Act like it. There you go, pretending you're better than you are. You're not. Once again, pretending. You're pretending again. You're hanging on your history the last 4 years, 5 years. That didn't mean dick. You were out-coached, out-schemed, and out-efforted on Sunday by the Niners, who were depleted. You know what that is? That was such a well-coached team. They had no right being on the field, but they beat you. How? Because you know what football is? As I've been telling you guys, this is not a 7-game series, dude. It's 60 minutes of football. Go out there and play your ass off. You got 60 minutes of your life. You don't have many of these ball games. You need to take every single minute of your life that you're on a football field and play it like it's your last, because it may be. I don't think there's enough of a sense of urgency in that building this year. Hey, we're not going to bring up we're defending champ. Dorky. When you're the king doesn't take his crown off. He keeps the crown on for everyone to know. Because if you want to be the king, you got to go through me. It's just another year. Okay. Why fight all that fight and not use that fight? They didn't use the fight. Man. You got ran over by a shitty 49er team. How's that even remotely possible? O-line was our biggest issue. Get this. Don't you Twiz. Agreed. The O-line was your biggest issue. The O-line in San Francisco was an issue. Receiving core was an issue. The front seven was an issue. Corners were an issue, and they won. Explain their issues. You're talking about your O-line and AJ. They had a roster of issues. Those coaches made it work. You know why? They believe in their players. Their players bought into them. They must have been telling them the whole week, that ain't the team you think it is of a year ago. That's not that team. Shit we were telling you, that's not that team. Sill's question, can Nicole Lynn request to take the no-trade clause out of Hurts' contract if they are not content with who they bring in as OC? Why would I take that out? That's my leverage. I'm going to go to them anyway. We don't agree with that. Why doesn't Jalen Hurts pick the next OC? Who do you want to work with, Jalen? Not who Nick wants to work with, or who Lori wants to work with, or who Howie wants to work with. You know what? I would ask a question if I was John McMullen and I had a shot in the pit. Hey, Jalen, are you going to have any say in who the next coordinator is? And if they say, and he says no, status quo. Nothing will change. And you're going to run the same shitty offense again. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to find one of these head coaches that have been fired. And they're going to bring their ass in. And they're going to bring a coordinator in who's going to kind of clip Nick's wings a bit. And you're going to see contention. But you know what Nick does? John McMullen's article. Go right back to that. This guy's a great politician. He knows how to walk around the NovaCare Center on knee pads. Doug didn't want to walk around on knee pads. Well, Nick doesn't have a problem compromising his integrity. He wants the job. I'd want it too. How do you do that? You have to be the ultimate ass kisser. Hurts no trade. Can you buy it out? I don't know that. I can't say I know that. Okay? I can't say I know that. You probably can. I mean, why would Jalen want to leave? Dude, he was 11-7. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. You think Clutch Sports wants him to go where? The Jets? Why would he want to go to the Jets with nobody around him? The Jets. Leave or be benched. You're going to bench a $50 million guy you can do nothing with. Once again, guys, I want you to understand something here. If you want to change the offense, you got to change the quarterback. If you're going to keep Nick, you got to change the quarterback. If you want to keep Jalen, you got to fire Nick. It's one or the other. Sills, they worked it out in 24. They did. Because Nick had power stripped from him because of the 23 meltdown. Let me ask you this. Do you believe that the owners know, and the owner knows, and the GM knows the limitations the head coach has? I do. The ego of the organization has cost you Super Bowls. You know, Howie Roseman said something interesting a couple years ago. I'm a better guy at evaluating talent because I'm not leaving it up to coaches. Listen what I'm saying here, because a radio host in Philly will steal this. I want you to listen to what I'm going to say here. Howie Roseman became a better evaluator of talent after Jalen Reagor, right? He said, I'll never leave that up to coaches again. To pick a player, I'm going to make a final call. Howie, why would you leave it up to coaches to pick coordinators? Use the same philosophy. Howie, this is your roster. You should pick the guys you want to have coach your roster, not Nick. What would he know? This is Howie Roseman's roster, not Nick Sirianni's roster. If Nick picked these players, Nick should pick the coaches to coach them, should he not? If Howie picked these players, shouldn't Howie pick the next guy? That sounds to me like common sense. Howie's vision on draft day. Okay? Nick's going to come in and parachute in and hire somebody that he's comfortable with. Remember, they don't hire coordinators in Philly for Jalen. They hire coordinators in Philly for Nick. We see it. It's on display. You know, the conversation right now, they're starting to heat it up. They're starting to turn up the heat. You got to distract away from Nick. So it's AJ and KP. Those are the guys. Those are the guys standing right now at the guillotine. And it's easy to chop their heads off media-wise. That's who you guys are lining up. This is a bigger issue. It's the bullshit coach or it's the limited quarterback. And if you want to go forward with the limited quarterback, coach him right. You did the same shit with Carson Wentz. This is Carson Wentz 2.0. How do you not see this? Do I think Howie's going to put a good roster together? Yes. Do I think Howie's going to put a good coordinator in the building in 25? Yes. 26. Yes, I do. I do. How does that make you better? So who are you getting? George Pickens? Who? George Pickens is not A.J. Brown. You know, I heard people, and I was tuning on the morning show. I heard them ask a question about Barkley and Devontae and AJ. And they were just throwing the topic around that they lose a step. So wait a minute. All three lost a step? No. You know what all three had? They weren't sure of the offense. That's why they look slower. They didn't know what they were being told to do because everything was so basic and dumb. Here, let me tell you something. When you don't know what you're doing, do you move at a slower pace versus when you know something, you move at a quicker pace? It's like I told you before, it's like driving somewhere. You have to type in GPS. You might take a wrong turn. You might go off on a wrong off ramp. You might take a wrong exit because you don't know the journey and you don't know the route. Well, when I'm comfortable in knowing how to drive to King of Prussia to go see my boys at Hooters, I know how to get there, right? I don't need GPS. I know all the off-roads. I know all the tricks. It's second nature. You move quicker. Common sense. Everybody looked slower because nobody knew where they were going. That's how you look slower. You want to know veteran football players? The reason why you love veterans, they know how to get to a point A to B. Young players don't. They're still figuring it out. And when you get confusion with your coordinators, I'm going here. Wait, am I going here? Wait, am I going here? No. You're going here. The Philadelphia Eagles don't change the coordinator to fit the personnel. They change the players to fit the coach, which is the ass backwards. You understand that? The players have to change to the coordinator and to the coordinator's game plan. Great coaches change themselves and the plan to fix the personnel. That's what Vic does on defense. Vic on defense puts people in positions. Like the defense in 25 was different than the defense in 24, schematically in many ways. They had to hide one of the corners. They had to hide one of the safeties. The linebackers played more of an efficient role in that zone. That's why the Pro Bowl's all coming from the middle of the defense. Okay? Because Q had you locked down. By the way, Eagles gave you 2 turnovers. You pulled 3 points out of it. In good field position, you couldn't capitalize. You tell me. How's that looking? Man, this is just getting in your own way shit. This is like dumb. These are self-inflicted wounds. You take the personnel off the field from your Super Bowl team. You make all these signings. You were catching up. Howie Roseman rebuilt his own. He put out his own fire he started in the offseason. Okay? And then the offense was just limping through the entire season. Up and down. Inconsistent. It was just all over the place. Big Sills, we read this team just like you do. Laurie's so lost. His company is going down. If Vic is kept, why is Nick here? Is he Jesse Jackson or something? Listen, he's a perfect coach for Jeffrey Lurie. He's a perfect coach. Boy, I'll tell you what. Angelo laid into everybody. I'm going to make a point to you one more time. The San Francisco 49ers had no right being on the field with the Philadelphia Eagles in that game on Sunday. They had no right. I mean, you had UFL dudes out there playing defense. And get this, because of great coaching, they held you to 19 points. There were explosion plays. the shit running down the sidelines by Nick Sirianni getting in AJ's face. I'm not saying AJ wasn't making business decisions, but dude, is that the place you want to undress your player? Is on the sidelines? Or do you want to do that in the locker room? I thought I was watching old school Gary Cobb coaches grabbing our face masks back in the day. I thought there was going to be a face mask grabbing on the sidelines. I thought that was Bear Bryant running down there, or like Newt Rockney. Wait, they didn't have face masks back then. I can't wait. All right, by the way, Xander's going to join us right after G Cobb from Fox 29. I can't wait to hear G Cobb. Without further ado, my dear friend Gary Cobb joins us now here on the show. We appreciate you, G Cobb. All right, right out of the gate, Gary Cobb's takeaways from yesterday.
Well, it was a lot of that made you think of the season.
Yeah.
Come on, you got the offense. Didn't do their job. I mean, you made the point where, they're playing against guys. Come on, half of the starters are hurt. I mean, come on, you're supposed to be moving the ball down, and they're just not getting it done. This is going to cost somebody their job. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, people both on the field and off the field, because they got too much talent to not go down there. You at least put up, about 30 points against a team where you got all these backups out there, and they got no pass rush.
None.
No pass rush.
None.
And you can't design some you had some people where, at times Jalen might have missed a few people, and you have balls dropped. I mean, people making millions of dollars to catch the ball. I mean, come on, man. It's that. I mean, that was, the Eagles underperformed. It wasn't where the 49ers played such a great game. The Eagles just did not play a great game,
But don't you agree, Gary, that was more of a microcosm of the entire year?
Yeah, that's my point. It was what we have seen all year, where you're like out of the blue, there's some switch somewhere. They just turn off the offense, where let's say you got some game. You know how you be playing. I got grandkids. I got a little guy over here. He's playing with his thing, and something goes wrong. Hey, something's wrong. That's the way the offense is. All of a sudden, somebody turned the button somewhere, and now the offense is off. We've seen that where they play the first half. Now that's why you're going. If they play the first half, they're not gonna play the second half. They might play the third quarter, but if they play the third quarter, they're not gonna play the fourth quarter. What's going on, man? It didn't make any sense. But clearly, and you're supposed to be playing with pros. That's the thing that really gets to you, which is, look, we don't care about how you feel. We don't care. You're getting paid to go out there and do your job. That's as simple. Do your job. And they clearly did not have that type of mentality this year, where, you show up, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear excuses, whatever. Everybody do your job. And clearly they did not have that this year. And that's why, they're going home, and, it wasn't where I was, oh, I can't believe this. This is what we've been seeing all year. This is what was advertised, and they did not step up. They had the opportunities. Come on. Got opportunities. So you get these 2 interceptions. What do you get out of the 2 interceptions? That put you in great field position. 3 points you get out of totally. That's what you get, 3 points. That's ridiculous. Come on.
Gary, is this going to cost Kevin Patullo's job?
Probably. It probably is. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah. Yep, because,
Yeah, but does that fix the problem?
I don't know if it fixes the problem. I do say that they need to be more creative in their design, their play design. Because, I was looking at,
But can they do that with that quarterback?
Now that we're going to find out. And shouldn't we find that out?
Yes.
We need to find that out. Who,
yes.
Is it Kevin Patullo? Or is it Jalen? Where's the problem? Why are they not being more effective? And, I don't know if all the wide receivers are going to be back.
You think AJ's gone?
I could see where somebody could put something up where, Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know all of the factors working in, but that didn't look good yesterday with the, with the arguing and stuff. What, whatever. Nick was getting after him about something. And
What did you make of that? Because Strahan ripped Sirianni for that on the sideline. And I'm not saying that Nick's not right.
yeah.
But don't you think there's a time and place for that? Is it there in front of 30 million people in front of your teammates? What did you make of that?
Well, that was Nick. I mean, that's Nick. Nick went early in his career, he did more of that. And I know that there was something going on, whatever, he just lost it. And that hadn't been what he had been doing. He kind of stepped away from doing that. He get the guy when he's like you mentioned, when you don't have the camera on him, get you something else. And you see how much they make of it. If you do it there in front of with the camera shooting, it's going to go everywhere. And there are times you could go up to the guy and say something to him, and if you don't do anything with the hands or nothing where you show it, they don't know what you're saying to that player. So that was Nick kind of losing it,
Was that the moment you needed to show leadership instead of that on the side?
I thought it was a mistake. Yeah, it was a mistake, because it wasn't good timing for it. And they got the cameras, but like I said, that didn't lose them the game, though. No. But it was bad timing to do that. It wasn't isn't the picture you want to show. But there are times when you do have to get after a player. Well, yeah. You get after them, you go over there, you sit the guy down, and you talk to him, but you don't do it where you're trying to show the whole nation that you're chewing this guy out. You don't want to do it because you're going to get a reaction from the guy. So that was a mistake. With whatever the mistake that, and I think it was because AJ was kind of taking his time to get off the field, and it was going to be a penalty. On the Eagles if he didn't get off the field. So I understand what he was saying, and I'm sure he had teammates yelling at him too, like, "Hey, come on, man, let's go." But it's the type of thing that doesn't lose them the game. The thing that lost them the game, though, guys had opportunities to make plays, and you got to make plays, and if you're making big money, you're supposed to be one of the stars. When the lights get brighter, you're supposed to get brighter.
I thought San Francisco was hungrier.
Yeah, I mean they knew the kind of game they were going to have to play to win.
They played hard, man,
and they did play hard. Their defense, come on, that defense. A lot of those guys, they got them off the street. They were
street walking linebackers.
Come on, these guys were not even playing.
They got
them off the street, and they came in and they did the job. And I think the big part of it was that the Eagles didn't do their part. I mean, like I said, guys dropped balls different times. Jalen missed a few of them.
How do you think he played, Jalen Hurts?
I didn't think it was one of, I think he was, C+, B, because he put some balls there. Guys dropped the ball. So it wasn't all him.
Yep.
But all of them are they did not. You didn't give out any A's. That's the thing. You're not giving out any A's, and this is when the guys that are the stars of the team. This is when you're supposed to step up, and they didn't.
What'd you make of 4 explosion plays, Gary, of plus 25 in the game? Usually, he doesn't do that. The defensive ends were a no-show.
That's right.
I thought the tackles played okay. The linebackers actually were a no-show in this ball game. Yeah. I thought Kyle Shanahan just absolutely pulled Vic Fangio's pants down in this ball game. And Gary, with Brock Purdy, McCaffrey, and another group of trash cans, they schooled them in this game. Couldn't you not see the difference in coaching?
Yeah, well, like one thing I'll tell you this is, how could you not try to have the double team
McCaffrey
and someone, they're getting the ball to him, and so what does he do? He catches 2 touchdowns. Come on, they're going to him.
The only guy they had left.
Come on, man. Like, And I was really surprised that they didn't do much. I mean, you're going to leave the linebacker on him by himself, rather than go, hey, look, we're going to double him if we double anybody. Come on, these receivers are nothing special. These guys, they got these guys off the street, So I thought that I thought he definitely did get the best of Vic, but the players are playing. But I'm surprised they didn't even make the adjustment though, because you got to double McCaffrey though. You got to. Come on. You see, they're always trying to get the ball to him. In fact, when I was looking at games of them, I'm going like, man, they try to get the ball to this guy. I'm looking at some of the earlier games. How could they throw the ball to him that much? And you're not doubling the guy? That's that wasn't good. So
how much fallout is this going to fall on Nick? Now, listen, I'm not suggesting they're going to fire him, because they're not. Obviously, they're not. However, I mean, the next play caller, did it not expose him, Gary? 2023, Brian Johnson didn't work out, whatever, how they looked at it. This year, this is not working out. These are supposedly Nick's guys. If you're Howie Roseman in the organization, do you allow him to pick the next coordinator for Jalen Hurts?
I think that's something you do as a group. You're going to sit down. You want where everybody's happy with a guy, because you want him to be happy with the
Should Jalen be part of the process?
I think he should be. Yeah, I think you should talk to him about it. Not that you're going to go exactly the way he wants him to go, but you definitely want, to have somebody that's, somebody's got to be more creative. Goodness. You run the same boring offense. And, they had to know what they're going to do. I mean, you run the same stop route. I mean, you're stopping the same spot you did throughout the whole season. You run the same route. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? You see how other teams, this is a big enough game where you're going to be putting things in for this game, for this particular team. You don't see the Eagles do that. They're running the same stuff they've been running the whole season. And with the season on the line, what is it? They run 4 stop routes. I mean, come on. Come on.
So
man.
Jalen Hurts today in the locker room just said this.
Yeah.
That he was asked about Kevin Patullo coming back, and he said that's up to Howie.
Yeah, it is. It's not, it's up to Howie,
Wait a minute. That's up to Howie and Lori. And that's not up to Nick? I thought Patullo worked for Nick.
Yeah, he does, but Howie can override.
I found that to be quite a comment that the head football coach, he didn't mention. He mentioned the GM and the owner. He didn't mention the head coach. Should Kevin Patullo be back? And here's a quote. Hey, that's up to Howie and Jeffrey Lurie. I think that tells you all you need to know. Those are out of Jalen Hurts' mouth.
Yeah, I mean, he's telling the truth.
So the head coach doesn't have a say in who's being hired.
They will consult him, but ultimately it's Howie's the one is making the decision. Howie makes the football decisions. Like, he's really making the player decisions. Like, now when they get to the field and everything, that's when, it's Nick. He's the one making all call. But Howie, Nick is not making all of the decisions, even like with the coaching staff.
But wait a minute, Gary. If they're picking the coordinator, then aren't Jeffrey Lurie and Howie picking style of play too?
I think, but Nick has input in it as well. But ultimately they are the ones that are making the final decision. But they consult Nick on it, meaning he gets his say, and for the most part, they're going to just agree with him. But they would come in, I think, in a situation like this and go, hey, look, we got to get more out of this offense, and that's where
Howie hired this guy and the owner hired this guy.
No, it's not like that. I don't think it's like that. Nick had say on plenty of say on what on
Okay.
going with Kevin Patullo. Of course,
Right.
this is after you win a Super Bowl.
Right.
That performance yesterday doesn't qualify to where you say, well, we're comfortable with everything the way it is. I don't think they're going I don't think they left there and go, man, everything's great. Like they left the Super Bowl last year. Everything's not great. So from that standpoint, that's why I think they come in and they're going to talk. I don't think it's not where it's, I don't think it's, where it's a fight, but I do think they're all going to get input and they want to have Nick along too. I don't think they're going to just come in and do something without really having Nick and finding out where he is. Well, Nick, how do you feel about how, Kevin did this year? How do you feel about it? What's going on with the offense? Are we happy with what we got offensively this year? We got the highest paid offense in the league. Are we happy with what we got? And Nick's gonna sit there. Well, Nick, what do you think? Oh, everything was great, man. It was no, everything was not great. So,
and by the way, this quote was posted by Elliott Shore Parks. Jalen Hurts was asked straight up if he wanted Kevin Patullo back next year, and if he wanted AJ back. He said Patullo is up to Howie and Jeffrey Lurie, and he said that AJ and I are in a great place.
Yeah. Well, the same thing that I'm saying about Nick, I'd say about Jalen too, which is they're gonna ask him. He's gonna get his say. He knows he's gonna get his say, and he was dodging that question. Because they're gonna go, well, how do you feel about it, Jalen? How do you feel about Kevin? What do you think? And he's gonna have input, going forward. And then ultimately, though, it's gonna be, Jeffrey Lurie and our general manager, Howie Roseman, that ultimately they're going to make the final say, but they're going to really, they would like to give them what they want. What do they want? And then they can look what's out there. There's some coaches, the Dolphins head coach, who would we be interested? Now I think it would make sense to talk to people.
Yeah.
Going, hey, look, what do you see with our offense? What do you think you would like to do with the talent we got here? And see what they're saying, because they definitely got to step it up. I mean, you can't stay. I don't think you look at the team. And of course, I was sitting there watching the game too, and I wasn't just sitting there going like this. Going, man, what? I wasn't happy with what I saw either.
No.
So I'm biased. And I think everybody's got an opinion, but clearly, right now, I can't see how they could keep Kevin Patullo in there. He didn't get them where they want to get.
How about this too, Gary? Here's something else. If the Eagles trade A.J. Brown before June 1st, they would take a $20.1 million cap hit, which would be the fourth largest single season cap hit.
That's not going to happen.
NFL history.
But that's not going to happen. The thing that I want to see though is that with this draft,
they almost can't move him.
Yeah, you're right. They almost can't move him. You're right. They almost can't move him.
The fourth biggest cap hit in NFL history. They're not going down that lane.
They can't afford to do that.
Not when you've got numbers on the other side where you got to pay Carter, potentially you're going to pay Davis, and you got to deal with Jalen Phillips.
That's right.
How are you going to take the fourth biggest cap hit and then turn around and pay them guys?
Yeah, well, you can't do it. And really, if you get the right offensive coordinator, because you got to get more creative with your passing game. I think you got to add something. And I think that it'll in fact affect the running game too.
But can they with Hurts?
We're going to find out.
He can't go anywhere. He's got a no trade.
Who could you? So I think Hurts is going to be in. He's the quarterback. I don't think they change that, but I think you could get the right offensive coordinator.
If you hire a coordinator,
yeah,
how does that change the problems of the passing game?
With the passing game?
Yeah.
I think that they could do a lot better job of having a passing game where you're attacking certain areas, where they're really kind of tweaking some of the things they do. I think that there should be where they at times you're going to utilize some motion and use it effectively. Where you're going to do some of the things that San Francisco was doing. I mean, here they got guys out there that are not even pro players, man. They're getting up. They were able to open it up so they can make some plays. So I think that they should consult and see what's out there, see what some of these guys say they can do with this group, because they got too much talent, though, to be where you scored 19 points in a playoff game. Come on.
Hey, I got one for you here.
Yeah.
So reportedly, there's a picture on my my X account that AJ Brown left a jersey in Quinyon Mitchell's locker because Q wanted a jersey.
Yeah. I saw. AJ didn't talk to any of the media after the game, and
I got a feeling AJ feels he's gone. Whether they want him out,
I don't know about that. After
no,
the game,
the money's incredible. I got it. That's going to be a hard cut.
I think it was a matter. Well, he wasn't a happy camper after the game, but who was?
No,
I wasn't in the locker room when nobody was happy. But he did get dressed pretty quick, and he was, giving the guys the hug and everything. A lot of the guys, are going to see each other. Everybody's going their direction. So that was after the game. But I don't think he left, where all of a sudden that means, he's not going to play for the team and everything. I don't think that's.
You think it's not that they may not want to move him. You think it's almost financially not responsible of them to try to just move the guy because of the amount of money that'll cost them on the cap, right?
Yeah, I don't think that. No, and I don't think they utilize him as well as they can either. I don't think. Come on, you got a big, strong guy like that. When he goes in motion in different times, you can get him the ball. He's got a mismatch against a lot of the DBs because he's so much stronger than those guys, so much bigger than the DBs. A lot of them. He's going to break the first tackle. So I think you could do things to get him the ball more. I think that they're going to get some young tight ends. That's who they're going to draft. That probably Dallas is not going to be back. And I think they need to get I would like to see them draft 2 or 3 tight ends because I think it fits their offense. They got guys that are tight ends that can block because they are still going to be a running team. But you can run your pass offense off of that if you got some young tight ends. And you see LA's doing that. You see there being a number of other teams are doing that with the tight ends. And I think that's what their future is. But
how do you look at this? Okay, a couple last ones here, Gary. How do you look at this? So potentially no Lane. Let's just play the game.
Now, of course, that didn't help. That didn't help. That was
no AJ and no Goddard. And you think that offense will be better next year?
Well, I don't think they can like I said, I don't think they can afford to bring Goddard back.
And plus they asked him to take a $4.5 million haircut.
Yeah, he already. I don't see how they could afford to bring him back. And I think that looking at the offense, with the money they got to spend defensively, they can't afford for the offense to be costing them money. No
production.
But they need production. Well, and I think they got enough talent. Come on, it's not like they don't have the talent. Yeah. They got to get more out of that talent. I'm sorry. They got to get more out of it. Because defensively, they're going to have to spend more money. They're going to have to give some of those guys some contracts, So, but I'm glad it's how we got to do it, and I don't.
Hey, I'm just telling you, G Cobb,
So, hey, so what do you think?
Angelo said this here last thing. Angelo said this, and you tell me if you agree. Back in the day, guys like G Cobb and everybody would be on WIP and they'd say this. Well, hell, at least he's not Rich Kotite. Now, Angelo said this. Hell, at least he's not Kevin Patullo. He's now actually taken the baton of Rich Kotite and he's taken it and said, now he's become the dumbest hire in the history of the Eagles. That's
I tell you that Angelo, man, Angelo's. I tell you, Angelo comes in there. He comes in there with the needle, boy. You know you're in trouble, man.
Hey, he's like this to me. He goes, at least he's not Kevin Patullo. And I'm like, you mean Rich Kota? He goes, no. He's taking that trophy from that guy. I said, I got to bring this up with G Cobb.
I tell you, if Angelo were doing the whole show, boy, I know he had some fun with you, but because you know Angelo, boy, he could come in like. It's a wonder Angelo's not doing some funerals, you know, like they're going like, we need a couple. We need somebody to preach the funeral.
Holy cow! He's sitting there at a morgue. He's sitting there like you and me know. He's sitting at La Sorenza's. And the guy walks into La Sorenza's, and it's Angelo at La Sorenza's, right? Hey, sit over here. Everyone hates the guy. Go ahead.
I mean, boy, I know, boy. That was painful, though. But, you know, the big thing is it was not the first time we saw that this season.
No, it was like you opened it up. It was a microcosm of the entire year. G Cobb, we will be catching up again because I guarantee you, do we not agree, G Cobb? Still, there's a lot of drama to be played out this week because, right? Yep. There's going to be a lot of fallout this week. Yep. And I think by the end of the week, man, there's going to be a lot of things said. We got to hear Howie. We got to hear Nick. And probably we may even hear the owner. So, I mean, plus the hirings. G Cobb will catch you down the road. Appreciate you, brother. Buddy.
Hey, have a good one.
You got it. Yeah, the funeral parlor where I'm from, it's called La Sorenza's. And my grandfather used to always say, you know, there was a delicatessen that was in Stanford. It was Buongiorno's, right? And my Uncle Sabby lived right across the street from La Sorenza's. And we used to have chairs. I don't know how we got the chairs from La Sorenza's. It's a funeral parlor. One day I'm sitting out there. I'm sitting on the patio with my grandfather and my Uncle Sabby. And La Sorenza's, this guy, I know somebody was being whatever. And so my grandfather's sitting there, goes, everybody ends up there, boy. And I looked over at my grandfather. He goes, every damn Sileo that's ever lived ends his ass up in there in La Sorenza's. You end up at Polici's and you end up at La Sorenza's. How you doing? Hey, they send you to the ground and then you go to Polici's. I don't know. That was always something in our family. Uncle Sonny, that's it. Yeah, not Uncle Sabby. Holy Maron. Excuse me. Uncle Sonny. Yeah. Be right at Uncle Sonny's place because this was my grandfather's parents' place. And yeah, La Sorenza's. Then we go to Polici's. How you doing? Oh, boy. What a show. What a show. How you doing? Some hard conversations, no? Some truth bugs and some truth bombs. Hey, candy coating anything here. You think you want to change style of play? Dump the quarterback. You want to change style of plays? You don't want to dump the quarterback? Dump the coach. It's one or the other. Because if you bring them both back, same old, what's that? The main thing's the main thing. And you're running it back the same shit. So Kevin Patullo will be the next guy up. He's like a bowling pin. When you become the offensive coordinator in Philly, you're a bowling pin. Okay? No comment. I'm not ending my friendship with Frank Wright. Nope. How about this? My silence should tell you. Okay? My silence should tell you what happened. We know Frank is waiting for Nick to get fired to apply for that position. That's not what that is. That's not what that is. Frank, right, not want to be part of the shit show. I don't know. She was the OC of the Eagles, either becomes a head coach or scapegoat. Yeah. If you like gambling, it's a perfect gig for you. You're either get elevated into being a head coach. Hey, wait a minute. Ask yourself something. Can you, I thought there was like messages coming out of the Eagle facility that Ken Batula was going to be interviewed for the head coaching job with the Giants. What happened to that? What happened to that? I guess that was a phony fake news story, wasn't it? That was fake news, right? That came out of the Eagle complex. That's Nick protecting his guy. Hey, Bob, put something out there to show that this guy's a good coordinator. And they made that up. I asked Boomer Esiason. Boomer Esiason went, what? I said, yeah, there's a story going around. I think the Eagles put it out. He goes, the Eagles did. The Giants didn't put that out. The Giants have no interest in Kevin Patullo as a head coaching candidate. That was something that somebody in the Eagle organization sent to the NFL Network. It was never true. We told you that was never true. It was to cover because Nick wants to protect his guy. A team's culture, effort, and behavior directly mirror the attitude of its leaders. Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo on offense need to be gone. Nick Sirianni ain't going anywhere. That's your boy. And Jalen Hurts is certainly not going. Hey, you know what? Again, the thing on Jalen, I'm not pissed off in any way whatsoever in whatever you think of Jalen's season this year. Okay? Jalen Hurts had so many guardrails put around him this year, it was almost impossible for him to overcome. Bad O-line. This is not excuses. This is facts. Bad O-line. An experienced play caller. Coming off a Super Bowl year. There's only been 9 teams in pro football history to repeat. Roster change. And also, too, you know what you had on your offense? What's the number one thing you had on your offense? Okay? Your offense is starting to get older. And I mean older in style of play. You know how you buy a car and all of a sudden you try to sell it back and you're like, how come it's cheaper? Well, because there's miles on it. Excuses? That's pro football. What do you think? The more you play, the healthier you get? That's a dumb comment. Look at Lane. Lane can barely walk. You know what's funny? I remember I saw that video, and I saw the video of Trent Williams. Remember what I said to you on Thursday or Friday? I went, Lane don't look like he's playing to me. Trent looks like he's playing. Trent was moving laterally. He was sliding his feet. I like, Trent looks like he's going to play. I saw Lane going through his little drills. I was like, that guy don't look like he's playing. And then it came out like over the weekend. And get this, I heard that Fred Johnson said that he didn't find out that, you know, that Lane was playing until, I guess, Sunday morning. Everyone was assuming he was going to play. So our defense will be so good next year. Well, here, let's see. How good will your defense be next year? That's assuming Jalen Carter picks his game back up and plays to his ability. Davis had a really good year. Bond had a really good year. The 49er game, that was probably his worst football game that he's played as a Eagle. N'Kobe got taken to the woodshed by Kyle Shanahan. The linebacker guys had their worst game. Q was spectacular. Cooper DeJean. If it wasn't for Cooper and Q, they beat you by 2 touchdowns. N'Kobe Dean addressing his teammates yesterday. He doesn't know what his future is. First thing he said walking out the door, I don't know if I'm going to be here. More than likely, he's not. I never said nothing about Jalen. You must pull greatness out of the great, not guardrail. Like you said, if anything, bring in an OC and head coach that will expand and elevate this offense. Make Jalen prove he can. I mean, like Shane? Shane can elevate him. Shane would have to be the head football coach. But they're not going to do what's in the best interest of the kid. They're going to do what's in the best interest of the Eagles. And what's in the best interest of the Eagles is to run the organization the way they see fit. Remember, do me a favor. Don't answer questions that I ask you like you would do it. Answer questions like you know they're going to do it. Because they have a philosophy and they follow it. And they don't really deviate off it. So I'm surprised Bond didn't make the All-Pro. I was too. I thought he was good. And yeah, I thought he was too. I thought he was first team All-Pro. I don't even think he made second team. Hey, for the first time in how many years the Eagles didn't have a guy on offense? And you spent $200 million on offense and you didn't have an All-Pro? Wow. Okay. Well, that's a first. Right? I can't remember the last time the Eagles didn't have a guy on offense make the Pro Bowl or All-Pro. All-Pro's different. All-Pro's the best in the sport. Pro Bowl's great accomplishment. It's in your contract, all that. All-Pro, you're the best in the business. Every football player wants to be on the All-Pro team because it's big money in your contract and it's recognition on how your teammates around the league and your brotherhood sees you. That's why Q making it, I thought he'd make second team. I didn't think he'd make first team. I thought Cooper would make first team because he's just that good. I'm not sure what game it was, but we ran almost a spread offense, quick throws, worker seems like OC gets amnesia and panics. Did he have something in both the reading of the defenses? I'll say this. I think in the second half, I think there's too many roosters in the henhouse, man. I think you've got too much conversation going on with Nick and with Kevin Patullo or whoever the coordinator is. I think Nick gets in the way. I mean, if you do this, the head coach has autonomy, it seems. I don't ever remember okay, I don't ever remember Nick getting involved with Vic Fangio. Why does Nick feel he has to get involved with the play calling with Kevin? Because he's inexperienced? Well, shit, why'd you hire him? Get this. That would be like Xander hiring me, and all of a sudden, every segment, hey, you should talk about this. Hey, we should do this. Hey, we should do that. Hey, we should do this. Well, why don't you do the fucking show? If you're so good, why don't you do it? Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians is what the offense is. One of my favorite lines. Hey, Dan, as for the offensive coordinator job, do you think Skip Holtz should be considered? I love Skip. Good guy. We had him on here. He won 3 titles with the Birmingham Stallions in 22 and 24. Skip's got a pretty good offensive mind, but that doesn't seem to go down the lane of what they're looking for. They're not looking for older dudes. They're looking for younger guys that they can control on that side of the ball. If you notice, all the veteran guys that have coached in the league are on the defensive side of the ball. That's not who they want over there. That is totally not what they want. AJ can't go. Him and Smitty are the best wide receiver duo in Eagle history. You don't break that up when both are under contract at 28. Agreed. But you need a scapegoat. Alfredo, think like the Eagles. Someone's got to pay for this. Someone's going to jail. Someone's got to go to jail. Okay? Someone's going to pay for it. You can't justify, Jeffrey Lurie can't go into the offseason not holding someone accountable. It ain't going to be him. It ain't going to be Howie. It ain't going to be Nick. It's going to be somebody else. They're not going to be proven wrong. KP was the wrong hire. Well, who the fuck hired him? Who hired him? I think that's a pretty interesting quote there by Jalen Hurts. It's Kevin Patullo back. By the way, this is Elliot. Elliot Shore posted this. He's the one that said that Jalen Hurts today was asked, and Jalen Hurts was asked straight up if he wanted Kevin Patullo back next year and if he wanted AJ back. Said Kevin Patullo, it's up to Howie and Laurie. Said he and AJ are in a good place. Funny, I didn't hear the head coach's name being brought up. So the coordinator's decision is going to be between Howie and the owner. Classic. It's almost like Nick Sirianni has no accountability. Way to get the guy off the hook. Okay? I didn't say it, dude. Your quarterback did. I didn't say that. How you doing? Woo, boy. Oh, my God. What a week this thing's going to be. There's going to be, there's still going to be a public flogging going on here somewhere this week between AJ, Kevin Patullo. Who do they hire? Holy cow, what an offseason. Where do they go? So wait, help me out here before we bring Xander up. You think your offense is going to be better without Lane, Goddard, and AJ? Okay. Sure. Yeah. In what universe? It's like fucking Groundhog Day. All right. I wonder what Big Z was on a long time last night, and he was trying to talk some of you guys off the ledge. I was watching some of it, and Big Z did a great job last night, man. He goes, I got to go to bed. I can't take this bullshit anymore. Without further ado, my friend Big Z joins us now. Big Z joins.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
How am I doing? How are you doing on this Monday?
Season has come to an end, man. A screeching halt. You know, and I think the more we become removed from the season, the more we will have clarity about why it ended the way it did, how it ended the way it did, and there was no other way for this thing to end, man. They were never a good team this year. They were certainly never a good offense this year, and yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they got bound. They couldn't put up 20 points on the 49ers depleted defense. So it is what it is. By the way, I do want to give a little more credit to the 49ers. You know, I think people you know, I think sometimes in Philly and it's all right, it's part of being a fan. Like you delegitimize, you say you're better than everybody. That team deserves a lot of credit. They won 12 ball games in the regular season, you know, and everybody said, oh, it's because they play a bunch of bad teams. And all right, well, how about going into Philly and winning a game on the road in the playoff? Is that a bad team? So, you know, that 49ers team deserves a lot of credit. Brock Purdy deserves a lot of credit. Kyle Shanahan deserves a lot of credit. I mean, they had no Ayuk, no Pearsall, no Kittle, 5 and 6 linebacker, 5th and 6th linebacker they were on. I mean, this is a team that was fighting till the very end, and they found a way to win. I mean, we thought they were limited going into that game with Kittle. Kittle played 10 snaps. He played a quarter.
He had 6 yards.
So I mean, it's you know it's a job well done by that team, and they got a lot out of their talent over there, and
Xander,
it was a good performance for them. It really was.
wasn't their coaching kind of a wasn't it accentuated versus our coaching and how you saw what they did? And wasn't that on display for everyone to see how limited the Eagles, and let's, before we get even into the talent, how limited they are on the offensive side with trying to move the sticks in simple ways. Just simple ways. Kyle Shanahan is moving the chains with Christian McCaffrey and garbage cans.
Christian McCaffrey too. That guy's a stud. I mean, I love Saquon. Don't get me wrong, but we don't got one of those guys. No. I mean, Saquon's a great runner, great back, but he is. I mean, that guy's a weapon. Christian McCaffrey.
He's like Bijan and them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree about the coaching point. I think it's a big thing. But look, at the end of the day, I listened to all the player interviews today, at least most of them. I listened to Saquon last night in the locker room when I got off the show. I listened to Devontae Smith. I listened to Jalen Hurts. I listened to Saquon again today in the video that came out today. Every single player said, Saquon specifically said, this is the same exact offense we ran last year.
I heard that.
Same exact offense. We didn't execute. So we're called conservative and suck because of this year, but, he said it. First one, I'll be the first one to say, I'm not the same back I was last year right now. I didn't run the same. We didn't block the same. Same offense. And it looks like the same offense. So for all the people drawing up the hitch route, and again, I'm not saying Patullo gave you an advantage. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, I think sometimes we do. Maybe John is right about this. We put too much stock in players or maybe less stock in players and more in coaching. I'm not saying coaching doesn't matter. I believe coaching matters a great deal, as you saw last night with the 49ers and all the playoff games so far. I mean, look at that Bears team with Ben Johnson, so I think it's a big deal, but I do think it's a little shallow to look at the offense and say it's all Kevin Patullo. And the only thing I would disagree with you about so far would be it's not really two options. Like if you want to change the offensive style to me, yeah, you got to change the quarterback. But what you said about the head coach, it's like, or change the head coach. Well, what's changing the head coach going to do?
The head coach doesn't want to play any other different way. That's how he wants to play.
So are you of the belief that we can play a different way? We just don't.
Yeah.
Okay. What way is that?
The way I watch with Ben. Well, here, Xander, you think Ben Johnson calls the same offensive playbook in Chicago that he had when he was in Detroit?
No.
Well, what did he do? He conformed an offense to the skill set of Caleb Williams versus
Jared Goff. Let's be real about something right now. Caleb Williams is not a fully developed quarterback.
No.
But that kid's arm talent is I'm sorry, Jalen Hurts' arm is not in that league.
But Ben is lifting it.
Ben is lifting it, but my question is like, and I don't know. I'm not professing to be the know-it-all. I'm simply looking for answers too, or in pursuit of them. But Nick Sirianni, I know people love to shit on him and say he's a product of the team, and largely he is, by the way. Every coach is, aren't they, in a way? I mean, if you coach, the Cleveland Browns, you're not going to have as good of a record as if you coach. Now, there's some nuance. I'm just saying, this guy's been very successful. He's coached 2 NFC championships to this team. He was in both Super Bowls and won one. We give Jalen a lot of credit for that. So let's just assume for a second, okay, Nick, while he might not be Ben Johnson or Kyle Shanahan, he's also not Chip Kelly or one of these other morons in the league. All right? Nick Sirianni watches Jalen Hurts a lot more than I watch Jalen Hurts. He watches him every day at practice. He watches him every day at camp. He watches him when the lights are off. He watches him everywhere. So he crafted this offense for Jalen Hurts.
Right.
So why do you think changing the coach is going to get you some drastically different result?
No, it's either because I watch coaches. All that stuff you just said, Kyle Shanahan wins games whether you have A.J. Brown or whether you have Debo Samuel or whether you have Ricky Pearsall. He wins ball games no matter what, because you know why? He puts players in position to succeed.
Yeah, and
No matter what it is.
What does he also require?
He requires a quarterback that knows how to play in the pocket.
What
You're either changing the quarterback. You're either changing the quarterback or the coach.
What has Ben Johnson publicly spoken about when it comes to Caleb Williams and what he needs to get better at? Playing the quarterback position.
Correct. And
I'm
being
saying,
more accurate.
You know, here's Prince bringing up in the chat 22 and 24. Bro, Jalen doesn't want to run anymore, Prince. Take the RPO and flush it down the toilet. It's not coming back. Jalen does not want to run, and he's not getting younger.
Well, if Jalen can't run, Jalen is what you're going to see for the rest of his career. A limited guy. And Nick coaches to that limitation.
That is my precise point. Not that Nick Sirianni is an awesome coach, but if you change out the coach and the quarterback skill set doesn't evolve.
No doubt. You're not changing shit. This is going to happen next year. You think what? You bring a new coordinator in? That's going to be the Band-Aid on this thing? Come on, man.
I think the best
ain't going anywhere.
This is what I think the best option is, because we can talk in fairy tales about getting rid of the quarterback. Quarterback's not going anywhere.
God, he's not. Neither is the coach.
This is what I perceive as the best option. Just my opinion. Again, I don't know if I'm right. I think Todd Monken on the market right now makes the most sense. Now, I don't know if he's coming here. He might follow John Harbaugh to wherever Harbaugh lands. That's
Tampa.
Right. So that could be anywhere. I think Todd Monken is 60 years old. I know he's gotten a head coaching interview this year, but I don't know if I see him as a guy who would get a head coach. You know how the league is with these young offensive guys. So
no, he's in Tampa today. He's in Tampa today because he worked with Mayfield in Cleveland.
Bring in Todd Monken. Let him craft the offense around Jalen Hurts. And tell Nick Sirianni that, look, you can obviously be involved. You're the head coach of the team, but we don't want to play the other brand of football anymore. We got to get away from that. We have to go back to trying to be a persistent offensive team that can take advantage of defenses, that can make plays, that can do things in the game. You know, that's what I think would make the most sense. Todd Monken, let him build his offense and see where it goes. And by the way, if that fails with Nick Sirianni and Todd Monken and Jalen Hurts, then you already know Nick's going to get fired and Jalen will be out. That's what they'll do. I don't know, though. I mean, look, it's the same problem we've been staring at for 5 fucking years.
Dude, it's Groundhog Day.
Right. Like, why am I acting? Why is Prince in the chat acting
because you're trying to have common sense conversation.
Are you looking, though, man? Are you looking at what? It's the same problem.
It's right. It's right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy. You know?
No, because you know why? You're thinking normal. You got to think like the Eagles.
I guess there's a hard, saying that would force people to confront a hard reality. That's probably not even likely at this point.
You think Nick Sirianni cost you the 22 Super Bowl and a chance to win this year?
No.
Nick
Sirianni didn't cost that game. No.
So coaching decisions.
Wait, 22 or this year?
This year.
Well, this year, yeah. I mean, let me ask everybody this. A bunch of know-it-alls who got every answer. Team wins the Super Bowl in historic fashion. Team scores 157 points in 4 playoff games. Team blows out the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They come back after their offensive coordinator gets a head coaching job, like most would after winning a Super Bowl. They install the guy who was already in the room, and they want to run the same exact offense. Is that not common sense? Is that not common sense? Well, would everybody else have said, would Genius Prince have came into the season and said, okay, we're going to change everything after running away with the Super Bowl last year? They ran the same offense. Saquon Barkley said it. We ran the same exact offense.
Okay.
We didn't even change the playbook.
They didn't look into the personnel, whether they were going to excel or not, or did they go back in the other way. Let me ask, I'm going to bring that point up because I think it's important. I think Vic Fangio did nuanced things on his defense this year because there were different guys that they had to develop. They had to hide a corner. They had to help the safety for a little bit. And then they got Jalen Phillips and they added it. And I thought Vic coached this team and this unit a lot different than he did a year ago because he had different personnel. How come the Philadelphia Eagles would run the same fucking playbook in the same plays? And you saw what was happening to the O-line. You saw that Barkley was not the same guy. He had 900 yards less. You're telling me you just kept running the same plays into the wall and you didn't change the playbook from 24? How's that successful football?
Yeah, but I agree. But it's funny. All the same people who are telling me that's stupid are all the people who want to go back to 22. Oh yeah, wait. Let's go. Instead of going back to what we did last year when we won, let's go back to 22. That'll work a whole lot better, right?
22's dead.
It's dead. It's been dead.
It's dead.
It's been dead.
All right, dude. Let's go here. What do you do with AJ? Now the money thing is going to be impossible.
Yeah, I mean AJ's tough. I mean, I don't think he wants to be here anymore though. I would say keep him. Because we're going to get better. We're not getting better.
Getting better.
You're going to lose A.J. Brown, Devontae, and Dallas Goedert and think
and Lane.
Year. I mean, I don't care who you're bringing as
and Lane.
I think you're wrong on Lane.
Really? You think he comes back? Why? Because you don't think he wants to end it this way.
Yeah, that's what John said. I think John brought up a good point.
All right.
I mean, I don't know that Lane's done. I think the question there is if you're the Eagles, I mean, it's hard to build a team around a right tackle that misses 8 games. Now, I don't know, but he misses a couple games a year, and now he missed the most games this year.
Yeah.
Is he getting to the point in his career where he's going to like you don't want to have Jason Peters. Not that Jason Peters wasn't awesome, but I mean it's hard to build a team around a right tackle. Like I don't know, do they want to put somebody in the room? I think they would. I think they'll draft somebody maybe and then let them learn under Lane for a year. Kind of like Cam Jurgens did. That makes the most sense to me. But I think Lane will be back. I think Goddard's gone. Although I'd be begging him to stay. I mean,
especially if you lose AJ.
When did Jalen Hurts look his best this year? He's targeting Goddard, not targeting AJ.
Yeah. What'd you make of that scene on the sidelines?
I didn't have a problem with it. I know a couple of you guys ripped it. You ripped it. Angelo ripped it. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, look, emotions run high, and these games, you can't make mental mistakes. And he wanted to get the punt team out there. He thought they were dillying off the field. Did not want to get an extra too many men on the field penalty. I saw it happening in real time, and he ripped into him. Whatever. It is what it is. Nick's an emotional guy. AJ's also an emotional guy. So I got I don't have a problem with it, but I understand why some people take it the wrong way.
Again, I think that I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying is that the moment you dropped 4 passes after that and you checked out, how I read it, and then they didn't go to him. Did they throw him a pass in the 4th quarter? Did he have a target in the 4th quarter?
Yeah, he dropped it.
Oh, that's right. That went across the middle.
He dropped it.
A dime by Jalen.
There's no bailing out AJ Brown on this. I mean, come on, bro. You bitch all year and then the ball comes in a big moment. Yeah, I mean, come on. You got to make the catch. By the way, Devontae Smith had a drop too. Did everybody miss that? I mean, that was a big drop too. That would have put them down near the 10-yard, 11 or 12-yard line, to go into the end zone there. That was a big drop. It was a huge – that was arguably a bigger drop than AJ Brown's where they picked up a first down and Dallas got it right after AJ dropped it. So – I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like though, like we all knew this was coming. We can argue about what the fix is. That's fine. But we all knew that this was coming this year. They were never a great team. They never were. And all the shit that we took saying it all year. I mean, it's unbelievable. But
before the show, Xander would go, the emails we get over the shit you're saying sells. And he goes, Jesus Christ. And
me, dude. I got shit all year.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, like we said after September, 7-7. 7-7. What'd you make of Vic getting beat by Kyle Shanahan?
I didn't quite see it that way. I mean, you got beat a couple of times, but I mean, your best cornerback got beat. Don't sometimes you got to what are you going to do? Quinyon Mitchell didn't give up a touchdown all year. He got torched on the opening drive 3 times. Is that on Vic? Same defense, same scheme.
So that football team, that 49er team, that's completely depleted, but 361 yards in total offense on them. And I can't even name you half the players on that team. I mean, I don't even know who the hell. I mean, they outgained them, and they did it with 58 plays. Well, I didn't believe you when you told me that the Eagles ran 72 plays. I went back and looked. I was floored.
Yeah.
You ran 72 plays and you scored 19 points? I mean, dude.
They had 35 attempts and then 168 yards in the air.
Incredible.
Dude, I don't know how much more people have to see that Jalen Hurts is not going to be this big passing quarterback. I don't give a shit who your offensive coordinator is. I don't care if Shane Steichen comes back. But people want to believe that we got the greatest thing since sliced bread. We don't. I mean, he's a solid quarterback. He makes plays when everything around him works. But when it doesn't, you're not going to have the offense you need. I mean, that's the reality. We came into this season saying the defense is going to fall off a cliff. That was the expectation. The defense is going to struggle this year after all the change. They brought back everybody on offense except Mekhi Becton. The offense fell off a cliff. Not the defense.
No.
The defense was the strength of the football team.
It was.
So if you don't have everything around Hurts working, does he give you the competitive advantage that other quarterbacks give you? I don't see that. Now, when he's got the pieces around him, hey, he makes the plays.
He excels.
But there's got to be a lot that's going.
Hey, I'll tell you what I did. So last night the NFL had a soundbite or a clip of Milton Williams getting that sack at the very end of the game on Justin Herbert. I went like this. Hey, you think Philly misses this guy? He liked it and then DM'd me, Milton. He goes like this. I'm moving on to the – take a look. He liked it. And I go like this because I said, hey, you think Philly misses this guy? And Milton sent me a DM.
Milt was a dope dude, third-round pick out of Louisiana Tech, I think.
Yep, Louisiana Tech. He played for Skip Holtz.
Yep. Just a dude who totally earned it in the NFL. Your third-round pick, he doesn't come in with the pedigree.
And I'm going to say
didn't have the big school pedigree, didn't have that. Was undersized as the DT, and he's totally grabbed the bull by the
thought he'd go up there, and I didn't think he'd live up to that contract in the first year at least. But he has, man. He's been a force up there.
That team's got a legit shot. I mean, they're going to be one of 4 remaining teams in the AFC. What do you make of the final? Well, I guess we got 9 teams left still, but what do you make of the final 4 in the NFC? Seahawks, Niners, Bears, Rams.
Let me see here. Here, I wrote it down here. Seahawks and Niners.
The NFL has such an interesting way of being super right.
Don't they?
Like if you look at the 4. They were
Xander, those playoff games are so.
They were the 4 best teams in the NFC this year.
Oh, God.
Everybody didn't want to believe the Niners because they had a weak schedule, but the Rams, the Seahawks. By the way, how about the NFC West? 3 of them in the Final 4.
That's incredible.
NFC. I mean, Rams, Niners, Seahawks, and the Bears, who exploded onto the scene.
How about scoring 25 points in the fourth quarter?
Unbelievable.
Bills. How about the way Josh Allen played against the Jags?
Yeah, Josh Allen is, he's a spectacle, that guy. I mean, he can play. But my question on him is not about him. My question is, is everything around him not going to be good enough to go the distance?
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see there.
I think listen, Seahawks take care of the Niners. Then again, I mean, Kyle Shanahan is some coach. I think the Bears are going to be a tough out. They're a physical team just like Carolina is. Don't go to sleep on Chicago in this game at home against the Rams. They could beat them. They can beat that team. Carolina almost beat them. Carolina had them on the ropes. They were an 8-9 football team. Tonight, what do you like tonight? Texans, Steelers at home.
I like the Texans.
You think the Texans go in there and win?
I think they do, but I tell you what, it's not a guarantee. I like that Steelers team in this spot a little better than I thought I would, just because I'm not huge in that Texans offense at all. The defense is great, but playoff experience? Does Aaron know how to play this type of game? You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll find out. Should be interesting.
I think the Texans win that too. So the Patriots will get that. It'll be Patriots and Texans, and it's Bills and Broncos. Can Josh Allen go to Mile High and win that game and get to another AFC Championship game? And then the AFC Championship game, and I do think he does get it done in Denver. I think the Bills are in the AFC title game against the New England Patriots. I think the Rams and the Seahawks are going to be in the NFC Championship. And if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, how are you not kicking yourself going, you mean it really? Those two teams are in. We beat one of those teams.
Yeah.
And we're not in it. I mean, next
you know,
move.
It's a little messed up. Well, I don't know. I didn't really look into it, but the Niners, they got another short week, 3-4 straight short weeks, and they're playing the team that has 2 weeks off versus the Bears and the Rams, who both played on Saturday. I mean, how does that work?
Right? Are you trying to get them killed? What do you think Howie does?
Wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
You got the Niners on a short week and the Seahawks on a week's rest.
Yeah, I saw.
And they're playing the Saturday game.
Yeah.
And the two teams who played last Saturday are getting the Sunday game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense. If I'm a Niner fan, I'd be pissed off. Doesn't make any sense.
So Christian Parker has been requested by two teams for a defensive coordinator.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan Gannon going to Dallas for interview for DC.
Yep. Makes sense.
And Commanders. Wow. Both NFC East opponents or NFC East foes are interviewing Gannon to be their DC. And Titans for head coach. He's not going to go to the Titans.
Jalen was asked the question, was everyone on the same page with personal agendas to decide in order to achieve a common goal? Saying that some guys had personal agendas, or at least alluding to that.
I listened to Jalen. I mean, there wasn't much notable there. Not
What'd you make on the fact of what he said about that's up to Jeffrey Lurie?
Yeah, I mean, you conveniently left out that he said Nick. He did say Nick, too.
Oh, he did say Nick.
He said Nick, Howie, and Jeffrey.
I took it from Elliott Shore's.
He said them. He said all three. I mean, he's right. I mean, what's he going to do? Sit up there and, pick the OC? He knows he's not. He knows. I think he also knows he's got to play better. I mean, it's the only spot appears in Philly that nobody would Does he just has perfect job security? I mean, just answer the question. I mean, the guy's a top paid quarterback. We had 2,900 passing yards last year, worst passing offense, third worst passing offense in football. We come into this year, we lose the running game, or we didn't lose it. He's still at over 1,000 yards in the running game, and we have 3,200 passing yards. We had 168 in the play. Nobody cares for some weird reason. Nobody thinks that the quarterback is supposed to elevate in Philly. I don't know what happened. Expectations used to be so high for the quarterback in Philly, it was too much. The expectations were so high they were unreachable.
Right.
Now they're mediocre, and everybody's got every excuse in the book. Okay is the new good for Jalen. If he doesn't turn the ball over and has 180, everyone's like, yeah, good game. Good game. I mean, I was calling last week for a MVP Hurts to come back out. Well, that's not what happened. 14 yards on the ground.
What do you think of his season?
Mediocre. Mediocre at best.
Who's going to have more pressure on him going into 26? Nick or
both of them have big pressure. Both of them have big pressure.
So, do you think their Super Bowl window's closed? Or do you think it's open?
No, I don't think it's closed. No, their defense is good. I don't think that defense is getting any worse. I mean,
so you think the offense will get better?
I don't know. What around what? Does it need to run the ball again? I was joking with people this morning. The princes of the world who think they know it all. They fix the offensive line and everything works. Okay, how hard is it to fix an offensive line? The Giants have been trying to do it for 20 fucking years. It's not that easy to fix it all. And by the way, we got 2 dudes who are under 28 on max contracts that
That are
aren't
banged
playing
up.
good. So
Yeah.
there's not an easy fix there. So if the running game isn't historic and it's average, like it was this year, above average this year, they were top 10 in the NFL in running yards, and Saquon Barkley was top 10 in the NFL in running yards. Let's just say it's average. Is the expectation for the passing game to lift to take us to make the difference?
That's what we all thought would happen in this game on Sunday. That the
That's what we
passing
needed
game
to happen
carry
this year.
us a little more, right?
Isn't that what we needed to happen this year?
Absolutely. Actually, I'll go back and I will give you love on this. You expected the passing game to elevate a little more at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
To take some, but that was in the premise of taking heat off the carries of Barkley, right? Well, when you really did need it in the end, you couldn't get it.
Yeah. But, leave it to Prince. He's got every answer. 28-year-old quarterback who's been in the NFL for 6 years. He's the first one to apparently need, if he doesn't have the perfect offensive coordinator, he's largely inept in the passing game. Okay, Prince. All right.
Hey, Prince, I saw Brock Purdy with nobodies and a play caller. And by the way, nobody
We
stopped.
called Jalen a gamer. Who was the gamer yesterday?
Oh,
it was Brock Purdy.
It was Purdy. He was getting hammered.
6 for 11 on third down. Big drive at the end of the game. 10 plays.
What were they on third down as a whole for a team? Yeah, there you go. You're right. 6 of 11 on third down.
Yeah.
By the way, you had the turnover battle and you lost for the first time this year. Am I right?
Yeah, 1 by 2. Again, another example.
Get 3 points off those turnovers.
I mean, defense gave you every opportunity.
Short fields and turnovers.
2 takeaways.
Take advantage
2
of it.
takeaways.
Jesus criminy, man. All right. I mean, Z, what's his first move this offseason? What's his first move?
They'll probably fire Patullo, make people like Prince happy.
This week?
Yeah, I would think so. I'd say by Wednesday. I thought it'd be today, but clean out day. They're not going to do it today.
No.
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow maybe. KP probably first, and then you're on the hunt for the offensive coordinator. And then, I keep hearing people say fix the O-line because I agree. You got to fix it. How?
March.
Yeah, but what are you going to do?
You can't do anything until free agency starts on March 17th.
Yeah, but what? Okay, if free agency comes, who are you signing?
Okay, now wait.
Are you replacing Landon or Cam?
Hang on. Chicago went out and got three free agents and put in that O-line.
But they had backups in their starters.
I'm telling you.
You
got Tooney off that Kansas City team, and you got that
You're
kid
not
off-
hearing what I'm saying, bro. They could put them in. We can't sign somebody to play right guard or left guard. We just paid our left guard $21 million. We can't sign a center to get better because he's making $18 million.
Okay. So you're in a pickle here. Right?
You need those guys to just play better.
So we're counting on them just to get healthier. Hey, maybe being knocked out early, maybe it does give them more time to heal.
Yeah, potentially.
They're not bad, bro.
Another month
of healing. Maybe that, I mean,
Lord
another
knows we
month
need
of
it because we're not going to have a good passing game. I mean, everybody should know that. I don't care who we're bringing in.
You're not.
No, you're not going to have a good passing game.
Has any of this stuff here changed your opinion on where you go in the draft?
Well, I've always said O-line. I mean, I think you got to get a right tackle. I mean,
interior or tackle?
No, tackle. You don't go interior in the first round. Maybe second or third round. I could see that, but have a replacement for Steen so you don't have to pay Steen after he leaves after next year.
Tight end.
O-line, corner. I mean, somebody said to me this morning, we need cornerback too. I'm like, I get it. We need one, but I don't view anything on that defense as a bigger priority than fixing the offense because the defense is not the reason we lost.
No.
Any game this year.
The defense was the reason you were in games.
So,
but
they'll probably go corner. Safety. They need another safety. I mean, Reed's going to walk, I would assume.
Tight end?
Tight end is big. I mean, all 3 of our tight ends are free agents. I think they might. Is there an outside chance they try and bring back Goddard?
Yeah, I do. I think Jalen's going to be essential in that whole conversation. We need you back here. I know they made him take a $4.5 million haircut. You're going to have to get over that hurdle. You sign him maybe to a 2-year, 3-year deal. I don't know. But, didn't he play all 17 or did he miss time? Did he play the entire season?
No.
I thought Goddard played the entire year this year.
Yeah, he missed like 1 or 2 games.
Okay. He did? He missed a
Yeah,
couple?
he missed 1 or 2 games. He missed 1 or 2 games. I'll get you the number. Edge is an interesting role. I could see him going edge. Yeah, he played 15 games. So he missed 2.
Okay.
And then the last one they sat him.
Yeah.
So he missed 1 game.
1 game.
I forget what he missed for. What did he miss for?
Was it a shoulder?
I forget what it was. He had one. Yeah, he got banged up.
Ribs or something? I forget. It was something I thought upper body that he got banged up on. I don't know. It was a foot or anything. I don't think it was his knee, was it?
Might have been his
Shoulder.
knee. Shoulder? Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
You're bringing Jalen Phillips back.
Yeah, that's going to be a big question. And if they don't, then that's where they're going in the draft.
He said today too in his clean out he wants to come back. They
all want to come back.
Yeah.
Milton Williams said that. Milton Williams said that at the clean out in February. You know, it's not. You know, and they all know that. You can tell by their interviews. Reed knew it. You know, Jalen Phillips knew it. They all know the very real nature of the business. You know, and there's no guarantees they're back. It might be the last time here. I think A.J. Brown knew that. By the way, A.J. Brown must have got the clean-out day really early.
Why?
Because he wasn't seen by any reporter, and the jersey was already hung in Quinyon Mitchell's locker. I don't know if that was him. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe like he had somebody do it. I don't know. I'd have to ask John if his locker was cleaned out. But I didn't see any sign of A.J. there. Did you?
No.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any video, anything. I saw the jersey. What'd you make of that?
Cool. Yeah, it's dope. Gave it to you know what he wrote on it? All pro.
No.
Yeah. Congrats on all pro and stuff. Yeah.
I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah, dude, that's really
You
dope.
get a jersey from A.J. Brown. Guys, we'll read your supers in a second here. Please hit the like button. All right, Z. I mean, I think this is going to be one of your more interesting off seasons that we've seen in the last 6 years. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I mean, and there's not that much they can do. I think there's a small chance, I've been saying this, there's a small chance that the changes could be bigger than people are thinking, you know, because we have an owner who's very forward thinking and loves offensive football, and our offense sucks. So is there a small chance that he goes outside the box and tries to do, you know, shake something up? But if you don't, there's not that much you can do, dude.
Do you think Jalen Hurts should have more say in who they hire as coordinator?
If he's about to get an extension, then yes. If not, then no.
Because, I mean, when are you going to hire a guy to help him?
Well, they hired one last year. Don't tell Prince that. They hired one last year. They ran the offense for 4 weeks. He had 7 turnovers in 4 weeks, and they were 2-2.
Then they
maintained the risk-averse offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they ran historically.
That's right.
So, was Kellen Moore not hired to help Jalen Hurts?
At first he was. And then they realized they got to run the ball. Look at what they're doing now. Look how many passing attempts they have in New Orleans now. They weren't
Wait, just to be clear. The minute they started throwing the ball over the yard with Jalen Hurts, the offensive line held an intervention with the head coach.
They did. They came out and they go, we got to run it.
We need to run the ball, Nick. Stop with this.
Yeah.
So all the people in the room
26
know
turnovers in 23
all
games.
the people in the room know the best idea is not throwing the ball, but leave it to everybody on the outside to say they got to throw the ball better and more. They're not. If you want to change the offensive approach, got to change the quarterback. They're not going to change the quarterback, so the best thing you can do is probably hire Monken. Tell Nick to don't run his offense and see what happens.
Kyle Shanahan now since 2021 is 3-1 versus the Eagles. 21 he was 17-11. They beat the Eagles. 2022 the Eagles beat them in the NFC title game 31-7. 23 42-19 Niners, and then yesterday 23-19. Kyle Shanahan, I don't care what anybody says, man, that was a masterclass on how you take tomato cans and take Spider Ricos and beat the Eagles on their yard, man. Boy, I'll tell you, Robert Saleh doesn't get enough love in what he did. Bro, I don't even know. Like you said, you were telling me, John, the pregame, we were like, I don't know. I mean, do we not agree that was the worst defense in the NFC playoffs?
It was, easily. Worst defense in the whole playoffs.
I mean, the Carolina Panthers were playing with the Rams.
They were the worst defense in the playoffs by like every metric, and they had nobody out there. Now they might get back Fred Warner, I saw
that.
Maybe. I don't know if they will.
My God.
They lost Kittle, though, dude.
Cool. Hey, did you see what Jed York did?
No.
Jed York ran down there.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. To Kittle, and yeah, I saw that.
You see, he
Got
wanted a bottle of tequila?
Yeah, I saw that.
And they brought him a bottle of tequila. All right. Guys, hit the like button. Let's read some of these supers here, Xander.
Let's do it. Hammond says, do you think we bring back Gardner? No.
They don't want another nightmare, dog.
Yeah, what's up with this? One and done, Super Bowl. One and done, Super Bowl. One and done.
Tells you
Super Bowl next year?
Yeah. I told you you'd be better next year.
Let's go to Prince. I'm just saying, give the dude a coach that will help him develop, bro, Xander. I get it, Prince. I'm just kind of past the point of like, I don't know. How much more development does he got in him? Like the organization chose to stop. I agree with you, but the organization chose to stop developing him.
Because they know
Right?
he's
Am I crazy? Didn't they?
No, he's at his ceiling. That's what they feel. Dude, when you stop doing something, Xander, and you stop developing, you are who you are, aren't you?
Well, I think the biggest question is like, is the running report real? Is if he doesn't want to run anymore, he's a fundamentally different player.
Absolutely. Fundamentally
different.
And he's more predictable.
Like the reason we're saying Todd Monken is because he's a dual threat coordinator.
Yep. Look what he did with Lamar in Baltimore. Look what he actually did with
Ray. Yo, we just won a championship with him, Xander. That's true. Was he the caboose though?
Hey, let me ask you this.
Caboose.
If Kellen Moore was the coordinator of this group and this guy with the output that they had, would he be fired? Or do you think it'd be a whole different ball game?
Kellen Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would have been.
You think they win that game if Kellen Moore's the OC?
Tough to say, Kellen's offense. Well, Kellen had answers, and when
Kellen had answers.
Yeah. Patullo had no answers ever.
Not ever.
Never had answers.
You see that last play? What'd you make of that whole scene, that whole fiasco?
Yeah, I mean, 4th and 11. First off, is not an ideal situation, because 4th and 6.
You got 4 plays,
I
probably.
thought John brought up a good point of like, if you're at the 50-yard line, that's a lot easier of a conversion as opposed to like when you're in that condensed zone with the end zone behind you. It's a harder to play in that tight stuff, so in that tight spot in the field.
When you have tried to at least get to the first down, use your last timeout, and at least give Jalen the ability.
That's what they tried to do. What do you mean when you say that? Tried to get to the first. That's what the play was.
Yeah, no, but they threw it. I mean, what I'm saying is, why don't they threw it in the end zone? He got the pick in the end zone, didn't they?
No, there was no pick. He threw it to about, I don't know what it was. I think they were on the 20.
Like the 3-yard line, was it?
No, it was like the 10.
Okay. I thought they should have tried to get closer. Okay.
I mean, there had to been a better play call than 4 verticals. I mean, that's like what a kid picks on Madden when they're 8 years old and all they want to do is throw the ball.
In your backyard.
Verticals, make everybody run. Like,
you're in your backyard. Just take off.
Is that really is that really what all we got? Like 4 fucking verticals with the game on the line?
I could have swore I saw. Listen, I'm not a body language guy. I thought I saw Jalen look over, go, that's where we're running? That's what it made me feel like what he said. I thought he went, we're running. Okay.
They got the other thing is though, I know that they want to play turnover-free football. Like I'll live with a couple more turnovers. Like when Jalen Hurts has 35 attempts and 20 completions in a game, and it amounts to 168 yards, they're not pushing the ball. Brock Purdy had the same amount of completions and way more yards. He had less completions, I think. Let me look that up.
Jordan Mailata said that he's expecting Lane back.
Let me look that up real quick. me look at the story of this game. I haven't looked at the box score since last night. I did rewatch the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I rewatched the game today between the shows.
Changed your opinion on Purdy's play, right?
Yeah, Purdy was 18 of 31 with 262. Hurts was 20 for 35, 168. That's that yards per play. They were 6 yards per play. We were 4. Changed my perspective of Purdy's play, and also, also that like you got all these playmakers on the offensive side of the ball that are getting paid all this money, and it's like they none of them, not just Jalen, none of them decided to say, let's go be great today. Saquon had a good game. I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, I thought he did
drops.
too.
I mean, that guy can't catch passes for shit.
And he struggles in pass protection.
Terrible in pass protection. But AJ sold, didn't make good plays. Devontae, Dallas had a decent game. Devontae had a big drop. I'm telling you right now, that Devontae drop on that final drive was a bad
How do you
drop.
think the offensive line played in the game?
Hurts got pressured. I saw the stat. Let me see if I can find it for you. They were good. Bottom line. Hurts got pressured only 14% of the snaps.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought Fred played pretty decent in there. I didn't think Fred played bad.
I mean, they didn't create a lot of space in
yeah.
the run lane. Yeah, here it is. 16% pressure rate for Jalen. PFF had him pressured 6 out of 37 dropbacks. 4.37 average time to throw.
Wow.
So the pass rush was like a non-factor.
Non-factor, and you couldn't find open people?
And the 49ers fans are joking. They're like joking that not having a pass rush finally benefited the team. Because it forced Jalen just stayed in the pocket.
Oh my God, man.
I don't know.
Dude.
I don't know, man. I hope people wake up a little bit. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy because I've been watching this shit. It's the same shit over and over again. The offense can't dialogue. Even last year with a great coordinator. Yeah, they run the ball well, but they were even worse in the passing game last year. They were worse in the red zone last year.
They actually improved.
So,
in the passing game.
I don't know. They're in a weird spot, aren't they?
They're in a weird spot because of money. Because of
players. I think AJ walked out too, so that's going to complicate it. Because if AJ didn't hate it here so much right now, which he evidently does, that's become very clear. I would say, dude, shut up and just stay. I can't. I'm not going to get back good value for you. I'm not going to replace you with anybody better.
And I'm not sending you someplace you want. I'm sending you to a place I'm going to get equity back, which is usually the Browns. So figure that out. You're not sending him to what? A contender?
No, they're going to send him to the Patriots when the Patriots offer a 2, and nobody else offers a 2.
At least you're out of the conference.
If the Patriots win the bowl, though, that's going to be the last pick in the second round.
Right. Well, get this though. At least he's in the AFC and he's not in the NFC.
What do you think they're going to get for AJ Brown if they trade him?
Right now, with that contract, it would be what you said, probably 2, maybe.
No, I think it's a 3.
2 and a 5, maybe.
I don't think it's a 2 and a 5.
Well, I think it would be something in there, depending how desperate you are. You want to put A.J. Brown with Drake May?
He'll be 29 in this summer, June.
Maybe not the 5th.
I think a 2 is rich. I said conditional 3 that could become a 2 based on incentives. Like that's what Howie normally
the money does. Though. The money.
Remember, he did that with Wentz, though. It was a 2 that became a 1.
Yeah. But the money's excessive here.
Well, that's why I don't think you're getting a 2.
So I'm going to trade if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, I'm going to get the 32nd player. I'm going to get the last player in the second round. That's like a 3rd rounder.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a good value for the Eagles to trade him.
Yeah. No, not to them. I'm going to trade him to a place where like the Titans. Now, again, he's not going to go back there. I get it. But I want a high pick. Don't you?
I just don't think you're getting that high of a pick.
No. I'm talking if you want to do a 2, I don't want it to be the last second round pick in the second round. I want it to be somewhere high.
I'm just saying, like, he's a 29-year-old, $32 million wideout. I agree with you. You want it to be high. But, like, how high can you get it?
Okay, I got one more here for you. I heard you this morning say this. And I'm not – and here, correct me if I'm wrong, Xander, if I don't want to put words in your mouth here. So, Barkley, AJ, and Devontae, I'm going to ask you, You think those three guys have lost a step?
AJ lost a step this year. He wasn't the same player. Barkley, the lanes weren't there, but he didn't run the same either. And
Okay.
Devontae Smith, I believe, has not lost a step, but he has plateaued as a ascending talent, which is a problem because I think he's got a lot more in the tank.
Could it possibly be that they didn't know what they were being asked to do? You know this as well as anybody. If you don't, and you're confused in the offense and you're not on the same page, and you don't know how to get to a point A, and you're used to getting to a point A with comfort zone and knowing how to get there, you're always slower when you don't know what you're doing. You're a step slower. It just looked to me, how could all three of those guys have lost this? All three of those guys? I get one. All three? Man. And Devontae, I think it had a lot to do with they didn't know where to go. And they didn't know how to get there. And they were never on the same page. That's all I kept hearing AJ saying. We got to get on the same page. We got to get on the same page. I think that's one of the reasons why they look slow.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Devontae Smith is a 1,500-yard type of wideout. That's my personal opinion.
Bro, if you put that guy with Patrick Mahomes, he's getting 1,500 yards.
You put him with Brock Purdy, he's getting 1,500.
Bro, that guy, sorry, John, but that guy is a one talent.
Who?
I'm sorry, AJ. No, Devontae. He's a one talent, man. I think you're telling me if you don't put that, what do you think Matthew Stafford would do with that guy?
Oh my gosh. That would be the perfect fit.
Do you think Devontae Smith?
That would be the perfect fit for Devontae.
Do you think with Matthew Stafford, he's a 1,410 touchdown
Yeah,
guy?
I just said that. I think he's a 1,500-yard back.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying Devontae lost a step. I'm saying the offense that we play, which isn't conducive for any sort of passing yards or, receivers having big years, has forced him to kind of just plateau. He is what he is. What do you get? 1,000 yards again, right?
1,008, I think.
Yeah, 1,008 or 1,006, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's plateaued. What are his career numbers?
I think only 1 year he didn't have 1,000 yards. That was his rookie year. I think only his rookie year
No,
he didn't have a grand, and he was at 900 then.
These are his numbers: 916 rookie year, 1196 in his second year, 1066 in 23, 833 last year, and 1,008 this year. So he had his last two seasons were lower than his previous two seasons in 22 and 23.
Because of style of play.
Style of play has changed drastically.
Absolutely. Let's read the rest of these supers, brother.
I guess that's what people want. Get back to the 22-23 offense. My problem is I don't know if it exists anymore.
It doesn't. As long as Saquon Barkley and that style of plays there, you're not going there.
Here's Harv. One of the biggest jobs as a coach is to provide answers to the test. It's so clear the offensive coach has failed. I agree with that. There's no doubt about that.
Your coach, I think that there was no problem solving. There was no problem solving in 23, and there's no problem solving in 25. What do you make of that, Xander?
Yeah, I mean that's a reflection on the head coach, obviously, and the coordinators that they had. But
completely, it's on them.
Here's Sileo. 30-second huddle with head coach, OC, quarterback, and that's what we come up with. 4 verts, and we only need 11 yards.
Hey.
Are we fucking serious? Just saying, man, I agree.
A lot of people have been dissecting that last play, boy.
By the way, it's a bad spot in the field for 4 verticals.
Completely.
You don't call 4 verts in the red zone.
With the 12th defender, the back of the end zone. You're not doing that down there, man.
Oh, man. By the way, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. Here's Hammond. Hurts did throw a dime to Big Dom, though.
I saw that.
That's evidence that with the passing game could be a lot better, right, Hammond? Here's Hammond. Do you think we got that one? Ramir, what's up, man? Can we name another quarterback that have a head coach none of y'all respect, knows how to coach, and have a different play call every year? Try having bums in your ear.
Okay.
Sam Darnold switches play callers every year. Baker Mayfield switches play callers most years.
Yep. And I saw a guy, Brock Purdy, with garbage.
I'm not saying it helps, Ramir. I just don't think it's a complete cop-out.
He'll have 7 coordinators in 7 years. Man.
You know, that number is getting so big, Sills, you got to wonder there a little bit.
Hey. Oh,
I mean,
no,
right?
It's a thing.
I'm just saying, no, I'm not even saying, I'm saying
No.
it from a little bit more of a nefarious way to look at it.
It's a thing.
Like,
no, do you think that's on him?
That's what I'm saying. How big will the number get before you start looking at the well,
wait a minute,
everybody?
How many times has he been divorced? 7 times.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's not the chick anymore, dude. I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I know
not
you guys
the
will get
chick
mad.
anymore.
Here's Harv. When will Howie address the offensive coaching staff? It's so clear to be how bad that staff was when you look at the opposite team.
We're doing that this week.
Who will they bring in?
Somebody you've never heard of.
Is there an off the what percentage is it that Kevin Patullo comes back?
If it's the same style of play, 50-50.
No, just that Kevin Patullo comes back.
50-50.
Wow, you think it's that high?
I do.
The positivity bunny, Bruce. Remember that fucking thing? Here's Eagle Nest. Dable, Monken, or Cliff for OC.
Those guys would want
Monken or Cliff, I think is fair.
Those guys would want control, though. They would want control. They're not just going to come in and go, okay. They're going to want some type of control, man.
Here's Christopher. Shout out Salah, dude, too. Dude's yeah, he is.
Yeah, he was. That was a great job.
I loved your comment earlier. I don't know if he's a great head coach, but I know he's a great coach.
Boy, he was great, man.
Here's Christopher again. The defense carried us this year. The offense and offensive coaching staff is what it has been. The defense had to play perfect for us to win. Yeah, I agree.
How about Doug Peterson?
I don't think they would do that, but I remember Jalen playing pretty good with Doug Peterson.
Doug said he'd do it too, right on our program.
I know he did. He said, I don't know if they would do it.
But I'm open for it.
Eagles fan Clark says the defense carried us to 11 wins, period. Agreed. Yep. Here's a couple more. Jeannie Iacocca. You act like they all get fired. He can't help ones leaving for head coaching jobs. I agree. I'm not saying that there's
no, wasn't all of them.
I think Kellen Moore fucking ran. He found any job.
He
might have bribed the Saints to take him, and it ended up
he
working
ran
out.
to the Saints, the shittiest team in the league, and he ran there. Let me get out of here.
Trust me when I tell you, Kellen Moore did not want to coach here anymore. His offenses are so different, it's not even funny.
This guy would have went to Tulane.
Here's Roll Philly. Minnie was top 5 in yards until AJ's BS. That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Man, he started off the season hot. Then AJ started bitching. And then the offense. It stuck in that. Hey, Roll, it sucked when he was top 5 too, though. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. Here's JD3. These people are missing the main problem. I keep hearing that we run a prevent offense. We have a prevent quarterback. Hurts is the issue. 27 can't come fast enough.
This is fucking hilarious. We've been this whole channel's been saying this for a long time. Long time, my friends. Long time. Long time.
I weirdly think the Eagles are going to be good next year.
I do too. Yeah, I told you. Didn't I tell you remember at the beginning of the year?
I will say it's going to keep getting harder. I think the Cowboys are going to be better than they were this year. I think the Commanders will come back to a little bit of relevance. And the Giants, I don't think they'll have a crazy turnaround, but you've seen what the Bears have done. You've seen other teams have big turnarounds. I can see the Giants if they got Harbaugh or somebody.
I think the Eagles are going to – I told you you'd win a Super Bowl next year. I completely believe you're going to be better next year. And I think AJ's going to come back because of the money. You're not going to get it.
It all depends what it looks like. I mean, if they lose AJ and Goddard and Lane, I don't care who comes in as OC. We're probably not winning the Super Bowl next year.
Hey, Z, let me do a 30-second, okay?
All right, dude.
All right, man. Hey, guys, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. We appreciate them being part of the program. We love the fact with their attorneys, coast to coast, thousands of attorneys defending families like yours. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529 That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529 and do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
bathroom. Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
All right, folks, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Howard Eskin's going to join us tomorrow, by the way, Big Z.
Nice, man.
So we're going to talk with them. So good stuff, guys. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Big Z, thank you. Also, Big Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, guys. We'll see you on the flip side.
Later, everybody.